Chapter 23. Neo was surprised by the money earned from this grilled fish fillet. To be precise, it was earned. He didn't expect that the fish that he didn't like to eat in the past would be so delicious after such processing. These few days, every time he came from home, he would bring a few fish fillets and share them with Cherry. Hey, do you think there are some feelings between Erneu and Cherries that shouldn't exist? Through observation, Wang Wan discovered this point. Why did Neo only give Cherry fish slices and never give them to her and Zhang Xiaobao? She asked during the walking exercise today. Cuckoo, please change the way you address me. Don't call me Hey. You can call me Xiaobao or Baolang. After all, we are family. Zhang Xiaobao was in a good mood. The grilled fish had been exchanged for a lot of things that could support his future development. Comrade Zhang Xiaobao, I'm not that close to you. Cuckoo is not someone you can call. Don't think that this identity will make us treat you well. Please answer my question directly. Wang Wan was obviously in a good mood. She even had the time to bicker. This was not easy for her. Zhang Xiaobao didn't refute. He was still holding Wang Wan's little hand and walking around the flower bed in the garden. This was enough to explain the problem. There was no need to admit it verbally. They were no longer children. Facts proved everything. He wanted to pick a flower, but found that he wasn't tall enough to climb up the flower bed. He sighed and said, I don't care about the relationship between the two of them. Only when one feels that they can't control their subordinates will they forbid their subordinates from having such behavior or emotions. They are just two people. I think I can control them. As for why you don't give us grilled fish, I have to commend Comrade Erneu. At least he's not stupid. He understands that our teeth are not suitable for such difficult things. Are you saying that I'm stupid? Wang Wan tightened her grip, wanting to hurt Zhang Xiaobao. In the end, she realized that the two of them had similar physical attributes, so she could only give up. Stop clenching. It's useless. Even if you're stronger than me and crush the bones in my hand, do you think I'll be scared? I didn't suffer any less than you. If I make a sound, I won't be called Zhang Xiaobao. Erneu, come here. Look into your eyes. Zhang Xiaobao's little hand suddenly relaxed when Wang Wan squeezed it tightly. He used his non-resistance to let Wang Wan understand that everyone had the same tenacity. He turned his head and called out to Erneu, who had been flirting with Cherries. Young master, what is your command? Erneu was rubbing the slightly hard fish slices for Cherries. Hearing the young master's call, he nimbly ran over, bowed his head and smiled at Zhang Xiaobao. After Cuckoo and I drink milk, when my mother comes out of the room, you can find my mother and tell her that you want to cooperate with her in business. Can you do it? Zhang Xiaobao stared at Erneu and asked, Can or can't I? Erneu originally thought that the young master would just casually talk about something. He didn't expect that the young master would actually ask him to talk to his wife. He was frightened and didn't know how to respond. You're asking me? Your family has made a lot of money these days, right? I've decided to give 10% of the net profit to your family. It depends on whether you can handle the situation or not. Zhang Xiaobao frowned and was somewhat dissatisfied with Erneu's cowardice. Erneu swallowed his saliva, thinking of the money he earned from the grilled fish slices. He would be lying if he said that he wasn't moved. 10% was already a lot. However, when he thought that he had to face his wife, he felt uncertain. How could he dare to talk to her about cooperation? It seemed like he was asking a tiger for its skin. Say something. What's the use of just wiping your sweat? You still have to face what you have to face. Just now, when you were rubbing the fish slices for Cherries, I didn't see you so hot. Zhang Xiaobao found that his patience seemed to be a little less than before. At the same time, he was disappointed in Erneu. How could such a person do things in the future? Young master, if it was someone else, I would dare, but madam, even if you lent me the courage, I wouldn't dare to talk about cooperation. I know that I have embarrassed you. Why don't you beat me up? Erneu thought about it, but he still couldn't make up his mind. Even if he wanted to risk his life, he still had to choose his opponent. Zhang Xiaobao closed his eyes. He really didn't know what to say. He couldn't even afford to be angry with such a thing that couldn't be shown in public. He turned to look at Wang Wan and negotiated. See if you can get some money from your family. I don't want to ask my mother for money anymore. Didn't you already make money? Why do you still want money? Wang Wan didn't understand. The grilled fish slices had been exchanged for a lot of things: meat, eggs, grains, and oil. Why did Zhang Xiaobao still feel that it was not enough? There was no problem with making sauce. If it was really so simple, then it wouldn't be me, Zhang Xiaobao. I have always done things one step at a time. Grilled fish slices are only sold in those small places around, and I have already achieved such results. Think about it. Some people with a foundation, are they fools? If I'm not wrong, there are already people studying how to make grilled fish slices. I want to use money to advertise and sell the theory of making grilled fish slices. I can make more money. I won't cheat, but I have to make the most profit, right? Zhang Xiaobao felt a little lonely at this moment. It was lonely at the top. You want to sell the oven technology? That's fine. Then I'll try to ask for money. Wang Wan felt that she understood and nodded in agreement. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. Although the oven is easy to make, I definitely won't sell it. I still want to bake cakes in the future. I'm selling the recipe of grilled fish slices. No matter what, I won't take out the oven. I'll talk about it after I bake a cake and attract some people's attention. What's the recipe of grilled fish slices? Isn't it just pickling and drying? Master this most basic thing is enough. Wang Wan tried hard to synchronize with Zhang Xiaobao's thoughts, but she felt that she couldn't do it, so she asked doubtfully. You don't understand. Don't think that it's easy when I say it. To really master it, it takes many years of accumulation. Let me give you an example. I remember that France saw that there were telescopes in Germany, so they wanted to make them. As a result, they found that there were bubbles in the telescopes they made. They spent a lot of money, and finally exchanged this technology. This technology only has one word: stirring. The saltiness is the fundamental problem. I need money to open up the market for me. I want to make a large number of fish slices for free and advertise them in big places. If I want to directly convert the things I exchanged in the early stage into money, to buy fish, it will take too long. I don't want to wait. Do I still need to tell you what time is? Zhang Xiaobao patiently explained. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao's dark eyes. For a moment, she felt like she was being sucked in. She nodded and said, I used to be called a genius, but now I finally understand that every coincidence is inevitable. You didn't become an international swindler by using tricks. To be honest, I'm a little envious of the education in prison. Like someone once said, the gathering place of geniuses, other than the Academy of Sciences, it's also the prison. The conversation between the two was using lip language. They didn't think much of it, but Ernie was under a lot of pressure. He thought that little Gongzi was ready to give up on him. Thinking about his life in the future, thinking about his parents, he finally made up his mind at this time. Little Gongzi, I'll do as you say. I'll talk to madam. At most, I'll just lose my life. Zhang Xiaobao was surprised by Ernie's words. He really did plan to give up on Ernie. It wasn't that he didn't want to let him follow him, but that he didn't want to let him come in contact with important things in the future. Now that he heard Ernie's words, the idea of giving up on him changed. He asked, why? For my parents. I believe that little Gongzi will definitely help me earn a lot of money. I've always wanted my parents to have meat to eat every meal and wear good clothes. I'm going all out. Ernie replied honestly. Good boy, that's right. You're not bad. Follow me in the future. Zhang Xiaobao praised. At this time, he forgot that he was a real child. Like before, Madame Zhang came over when the children needed milk. She fed the two children one on each side, and watched the two little guys fall asleep. When she went out and was about to do her own things, she found that Ernie, who had always been hiding far away in the past, was actually blocking the door today. Ernie, do you have something to say to me? Is it about Bao Lang and Cuckoo? Zhang Wang Clan glanced at Ernie and asked faintly. Ernie had already drunk some wine, and was brewing his emotions. He thought that he could speak to the madam directly. At this time, when he heard the madam's question, the courage that was boosted by the wine suddenly disappeared. He looked down at his feet and said timidly, No, nothing. Madam, take care. And take good care of Xiaobao and Cuckoo. I won't mistreat you in the future. Zhang Wang Clan replied and walked away. Ernie was stunned. He thought for a while, and used his hand to pinch his leg. Finally, he gathered his courage and said loudly, "Madam, please wait. I have something to say." "And what do you want to say?" Jiang Wang Clan stopped and slowly turned around to stare at Ernie and asked. At this time, Ernie knew that he couldn't back down anymore. He allowed the sweat to flow down his forehead. He swallowed his saliva and stuttered. "Madam, I want to talk to you about business." "Yes, that is about business." "Oh, you want to talk to me about business? Good Ernie, you've grown up. Speak, what kind of business do you want to talk about to buy yourself back?" Jiang Wang Clan was puzzled. She didn't know what was wrong with Ernie today. Why did he want to talk to her about business? What a joke. What qualifications did he have? The thing that he wanted to sell himself was still in her hands. "No, it's not me. It's my family. My family didn't sell it here. My parents, my brother, and my sister are all farmers. My family's business, grilled fish fillets, is sold in the surrounding areas. Our Zhuangzi doesn't have the grilled fish fillets yet. Let's talk about this." Ernie tried to calm himself down and said while trembling, "Grilled fish fillets? Did you say grilled fish fillets? Did your family make them? How dare you? Your family is a farmer in Zhuangzi. Why didn't you tell me what you made first?" Jiang Wang Clan shouted angrily. Chapter 24. Hearing the madam's question, Ernie didn't even think about it, and directly knelt down. He didn't dare to face the angry madam. He thought about giving up the little Gongzi, but he suddenly thought that if he really did, would the little Gongzi be punished? Of course not. The madam only praised the little Gongzi and praised him. The problem was after praising him, would he still be alive? If the madam didn't punish him, the little Gongzi could find a random reason to kill him. Therefore, Ernie felt that the only thing he could do was to not say anything and wait for the madam's anger. Even if the madam let someone else beat him up, it would be good. As for an explanation, what should he say? Could it be that the little Gongzi deliberately told him not to buy fish from these two Zhuangzi? Hold on, the madam won't beat him to death. Tell me, why didn't you tell me that the fish was made by your family? I didn't know that there was such a person in Zhuangzi. You must have made a lot of money, right? What are your plans in the future? When the Jiang Wang clan saw Ernie like this, she tried to control her tone and slowly said, "Madam, I can't tell you. Madam, I can't say it. Even if you beat me to death, I can't say it. The only thing I can say is that I, Ernie, and my family have never done anything to let down the Zhang family's manor. Madam, you will definitely know in the future. Even if I, Ernie, die for the manor, I will not think of harming the manor. I am just talking about business." Ernie knelt on the ground and clenched his fists. His face was already full of tears. But even so, he didn't sell Zhang Xiaobao. At this moment, Zhang Xiaobao was lying on the bed. He clearly heard the conversation and actually laughed. Wang Wan also heard it. When she saw Zhang Xiaobao's expression, she said angrily, "Why didn't you stand up to save him? You laughed because you think that Ernie is stupid and should be laughed at? Bullshit. When did I laugh at Ernie? Ernie will be my family in the future. I laughed because I, Zhang Xiaobao, had someone who was willing to die for me in my previous life. In this life, it's worth it. Ernie will be my brother in the future. When he's alive, I'll let him enjoy glory and wealth. If he dies, I'll take care of his family in his place. If you want me to go out, I'll go out. How can I face Ernie?" Zhang Xiaobao suddenly cursed and stood up from the couch. His smile didn't change, but his small hands were tightly clenched. How can you buy people's heart? I don't believe it." Wang Wan was a little jealous. Zhang Xiaobao could get her information whenever he wanted, but Zhang Xiaobao's whereabouts could only be exposed if he wanted to. The difference was too big. You don't believe it? Let me tell you, on that day, until the last moment of the explosion, I could still run away if I wanted to. I didn't call for them, but my brothers were already in position. As long as I made a gesture, the 6 snipers on your side would immediately be killed. It's just that I don't have that much time left, and I don't want to hurt you. Don't think that you're so powerful. Let me tell you, in your organization, there are some people who are nothing compared to Ernie. Ernie still knows his place and knows loyalty. The people in your organization have already sold their souls. Not everyone is you Wang Wan. And not everyone can be a bawang flower. Zhang Xiaobao finally got angry. He also had his own bottom line. And he wouldn't allow anyone to touch it. He said to Wang Wan mercilessly. Wang Wan was dumbfounded. It wasn't that she didn't think that there were people in the organization who betrayed her. But she just didn't want to believe it. At this moment, the last bit of hope in her heart was shattered. Of course, she understood the meaning behind Zhang Xiaobao's words. She didn't hate Zhang Xiaobao, nor did she hate the people who betrayed her. After all, not everyone could be like her. She was just a little jealous. Zhang Xiaobao was just a liar. How could he have such good brothers? The two of them had their own thoughts. Outside, Erniu and Jiang Wang clan were also confronting each other. You're really not going to say it? Jiang Wang clan asked word by word. Even if you beat me to death, I won't say it. Ernia stubbornly replied. Wang Wan, who was thinking about something in the room, almost laughed out loud when she heard Ernia's words. All right then, tell me, how do you want to cooperate? Jiang Wang clan thought for a while, then turned around to look at the room she just came out of and asked. Madam, give me another 2 strings of money. I'll use it to buy fish, make fish fillets, and then give it to people for free in other bustling places, especially a high-end restaurant. After 5 days, I'll return 50 strings of money to you. Ernie said according to Zhang Xiaobao's preset words. Jiang Wang clan smiled, nodded, and gently said to Ernie, you've always been a smart person in my family. Almost everyone thinks so, but I know you, and I trust you. That's why I put Xiaobao and Cuckoo in your care. Since you want this money, then I'll give it to you. If you can get 50 strings of money, then 50 strings of money. Even if you lose money in the end, it's not a big deal. Don't think too much about it. Your mother should be happy to have a son like you. I think your mother knows what kind of person you are, just like me. It's over, my mother knows. Zhang Xiaobao, who was standing on the couch, said faintly. Yes, no one knows a son better than his mother. Wang Wan, who also heard Jiang Wang clan's words, agreed. My mother said that for me. Zhang Xiaobao smiled. Then why are you so happy? Wang Wan asked. Why wouldn't I be happy? My mother is so smart. Of course I have a reason to be happy. My father, that bookworm, is lucky. Zhang Xiaobao fell down from the couch, and with a plop, he lay down beside Wang Wan. He said to Wang Wan, who was dissatisfied with his action. Today is the happiest day of my life. I found a good brother, and I know how great a mother's love is. What's the extent? Wang Wan really couldn't understand the extent to which a mother unconditionally supports her child. Listen, my mother will definitely agree. This reminds me of something written in a book. As a mother, even if she knows that her child will be scalded by boiling water, she will still support him unconditionally. She will secretly watch, and if there is any danger, she will directly rush to hold the kettle and not let her child get scalded. Zhang Xiaobao said emotionally. So what? A person's nobility and greatness is because of this. Wang Wan was still refuting Zhang Xiaobao. Even if she was touched, she still refused to admit defeat. Wrong, it's not just humans, it's the same for animals. If you've seen hunters hunting, you'll understand. Those animals that bite off their own legs to escape from the trap must be females. Because they want to go back to feed their own children, Zhang Xiaobao said. Don't tell me these useless things, I don't like to hear them. Wang Wan turned her head away. She didn't want Zhang Xiaobao to see her red eyes. She thought of her family in her previous life. Okay, I won't say anything, just listen. Zhang Xiaobao was grateful to God. He finally had parents in this life. Cherries, come here, take the money. When the time comes, give it to Erniu. Madame Zhang, who was outside, called out to the house. Ying Tao immediately ran out and took the piece of wood that represented 2 strings of money. Erniu, you should also get up. Remember my words. I believe you can take good care of Erniu. Later, go to the accountant's office and get some meat. Then go back home and have a good meal. Jiang Wang clan took out another wooden piece and threw it to Erniu, who was kneeling there, then slowly walked away. Erniu seemed to wake up from a dream. He trembled as he picked up the wooden piece and looked at his wife's back as she walked away, speechless for a long time. Just as Zhang Xiaobao said. When people saw that the fish fillet was profitable, they immediately started to imitate it, and the price was lower, but the sales were not good. First, the saltiness of the fish fillet was uneven, and second, the fish fillet could not be roasted to the same degree as Erneu's. The heat was not controlled well at all. After receiving the money, Erneu immediately started to buy a large amount of raw fish, according to Zhang Xiaobao's instructions, and sent the fish fillets to some restaurants for free tasting. 5 days later, the free roasted fish fillets suddenly disappeared. Men actually did not like to eat this food. No matter how delicious it was not as good as marinated beef with wine, but children and women liked it. These two people were really important, to the point that any man with a normal sexual orientation had to consider it. After 5 days of free roasted fish fillets, the restaurants had to carefully consider the economic benefits of this food, which was how much money they could make. The most direct example was the brothels. There were many women there, and they had already treated the fish fillets as an indispensable snack. Next were the men who were looking for a woman, and they had to bring some back to please the woman. The last were those who had children. When they were eating and drinking, they found that the children liked the fish fillets, so they had to bring some back. Then, they would throw it to the children with a straight face, and say a few stern words. This was the depth of a father's love. But now that the supply had suddenly stopped, the fish fillets that appeared in other places were much worse than this. Just the balance between the saltiness of the fish fillets was incomparable. The owner of the restaurant became anxious, and asked around to find out where the fish fillets were made. Wanting to find out, Erneu had been listening to the young master's orders all this time, which was to say, he was remotely commanding. When he saw that many people were asking, he asked his elder brother to take the lead and compete. Although it was said that he was selling the recipe, in fact it was only one thing, and that was the marination, or the deep processing of the sea fish. Such a simple thing, before it was announced, made people yearn for it endlessly. When someone spent 120 taels of silver to get it, they could only keep it in their hearts. Didn't I tell you to take copper coins? You just had to bring back so much money. Tell me, if I want to buy something, you take the money to pay for it. I want to buy 200 caddies of soybeans, and you take so much money to look for trouble? What do you want me to say to you? If I want to sell a piece of tofu now, you take the money and buy it for me to see? Do you want to use silver in your future business transactions? If you feel that you are tired of living, don't drag me to die with you. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the small pile of money that Erneu had placed in front of him, and patted his head. Then, he looked at Erneu's sad expression, and knew that this was done by Erneu. He could only sigh, and let Erneu give the money to his mother first, and slowly exchange the rest for copper coins to carry out the next step of the plan. Chapter 25. When Erneu listened to Zhang Xiaobao and returned the money, the Zhang Wang clan was a little surprised. She stared at Erneu and asked, "How much did your family earn this time? Did you borrow the money from somewhere else to return it to me?" "Madam, where did I get so much money from? It's all my family's money." Erneu was about to say little master, but fortunately, he was smart enough to grasp the key moment and press the blame on himself. The Zhang Wang clan carefully looked at Erneu again and nodded slowly. "Erneu, how much did your family earn this time? Return me 50 strings of coins. Do you have any left?" "Yes, I earned 120 taels of silver this time. So I still have 70 taels of silver left." No matter how smart Erneu was, he was not as smart as the Zhang Wang clan. He didn't understand the meaning of the madam's question, so he told the truth. "Oh, so much money. Then what you returned was silver, but what you kept were copper coins." "No, it's still silver, but I forgot that my parents told me to exchange it for copper coins. It's not easy to spend it now." Erneu didn't know why, but he was afraid when he saw the madam, so he couldn't speak properly. "If that's the case, then I'll exchange it for copper coins. After all, you are a member of the Zhang family, so it's good that you can earn money." The Zhang Wang clan solved Erneu's problem. Erneu didn't know what was going on, so he returned with the 70 strings of coins in the cart. When he saw Zhang Xiaobao, he said happily, "Little master, You don't have to think of other ways. The madam actually exchanged all the silver in my hand for copper coins. This is great. I didn't expect the madam to be so easy to talk to. Little master, don't just stand there. I brought the money back. As Ernie spoke, he realized that the little young master was looking outside without moving. He was a little worried and waved his hand in front of Zhang Xiaobao. Oh, okay. Ernie, is your mother's mouth okay? Zhang Xiaobao suddenly asked. It's not that good. My father said that it's because my mother was too tired when she was young. She lost quite a few of her teeth, so she doesn't like to eat hard things. Ernie couldn't keep up with Zhang Xiaobao's pace, so he answered whatever he was asked. Your teeth don't taste good. Meat is a waste of time, right? Come, Ernie, I'll teach you a way. When you go back, you can cook for your mother. Prepare such a big copper basin. Or you can make something according to what I've drawn for you. Use copper. Zhang Xiaobao didn't think about the money at all. He directly drew a basin on the ground. The middle was hollowed out, and a tube with a bulging belly protruded out. Below the tube was a grate. According to the explanation, it was made of iron wire. Make this thing. Put charcoal in the middle, and you can get rid of the charcoal residue at the bottom. Put the spices you think you can put in, and add lard. In addition, use a stove and a pot to boil the wheat flour until it's sticky. Mix twice the amount of water, and put the water into the thing just now. When the water boils, you put the mutton in and cook it. As soon as the color changes, take it out and give it to your mother. She will definitely be able to bite it, and the 100 boiled meat won't be old. After a while, you go back and find someone to make it. It's best to find different people to make different parts. Keep it a secret and don't tell anyone. Make one more, yes, 2 more. Send it to my mother and Cuckoo's mother. Tell them the method you used, and emphasize that it's a secret. Do you understand? Zhang Xiaobao pointed at the drawing on the ground and said to Ernie, I understand. Little young master, don't worry. I won't say anything even if you beat me to death. Little young master, why are you so kind to my mother? Ernie asked blankly. What are you talking about? What do you mean by kind to your mother? I'm asking you to be kind to your mother. Don't ask anymore. Just go back and make food for your mother as I said. Now let's get down to business. Do you know anyone who makes porcelain? Zhang Xiaobao continued to ask. While Ernie was thinking, Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao with her lips, Your mother is really good to you. She knows that you can't spend money directly, so she changed it to copper coins for you. She even found an excuse that she thinks is reasonable. She doesn't want you to know. It's not easy to be a mother. I'll tell you the truth. Don't be unhappy. I'm a little glad that your parents are gone. Otherwise, you will definitely find your parents. At that time, if your parents in your previous life were to be laid off or bullied, there will definitely be a bloody storm. I'm scared just thinking about it. Your current state is sick. Do you know that? You're not sick. I pray that your mother in your previous world will be killed by a car tomorrow. Zhang Xiaobao's lips moved. Wang Wan was like a wolf that wanted to eat people. She suddenly pounced on Zhang Xiaobao and strangled his neck. She said in a low voice, Say that again? I'll bite you to death. See, you still say that I'm sick. You're not much better. Do you understand? We're the same kind of people. Don't touch my bottom line in the future. Yes, I just understood that it was my mother who supported me without reservation. I thought of Ernie's mother, and wanted to use his hands to give some benefits to my mother and your family. I don't think I did anything wrong. You can say that I don't have any defense in front of this kind of family, but you can't insult me. Zhang Xiaobao didn't struggle at all. It was impossible for a little kid like Wang Wan to strangle him to death. Then you're talking about my mother? Okay, I'll forgive you for the time being. Don't tell me what you don't want to do to others. Continue cooking your hot pot. Wang Wan actually wanted Zhang Xiaobao to not be so childish. Once he faced his family, he would lose his toughness. However, she suddenly found that she was the same. She resentfully got up and stood aside. Ernie was scared. He wanted to pull her back, but didn't dare. Seeing that the two ancestors finally separated, he took a few breaths and calmed down again. Thinking of what the little young master asked just now, he replied, Little young master, what do you want to do if you can find someone who can make porcelain? Make things. Make all kinds of exquisite small jars. Don't be too big, as long as it can hold 4 liters of water. For jars can hold 1 caddy. The more beautiful the better. How's your family's chili picking? Zhang Xiaobao calmed down and said to Erniu, we've picked a lot. Little young master, how much do you want? Is the money used to make porcelain jars? Erniu finally realized that he was almost like a fool in front of this child, who was less than 1 year old. He couldn't figure out what the little young master was thinking. If he didn't earn more than 100 taels of silver this time, he would really think that he was just fooling around with the child. Before Zhang Xiaobao could say anything, Wang Wan gave an order. She still understood this kind of thing. Continue to pick. It's best to let others help you pick them. You can buy them with money. The more the better. Even if you pick all the chili from the surrounding mountains, it's fine. How about this 1 copper coin for 3 caddies? Let those children who have nothing to do pick them. 1 copper coin for 3 caddies. Erniu asked with his eyes wide open. Why? Is the money too little? Wang Wan was a little uncertain. It's too much. You can find them all over the mountain. Just let a child go to the mountain, and he can bring back 40 to 50 caddies in a day. Erniu now wanted to rush to the mountain to pick them. Ah, so much. Then buy more. 1 copper coin for 5 caddies. You can't reduce it anymore. But you can adjust the purchasing method. You can buy every 300 caddies. This way, when fewer and fewer chili plants are picked, there will still be people picking them. If you can't gather 300 caddies, you won't be able to earn any money. This kind of small matter could be handled by Wang Wan herself. She didn't need this big liar, Zhang Xiaobao. Erniu still didn't know what the little young master and the little miss of the Wang family were thinking, but he still nodded in agreement. After all, he was the kind of person who was smart. He understood that he could be ignorant of many things, but there was one thing that he must do, and that was loyalty. He would do whatever he was told. After waiting for Erniu to accept the order and leave, Wang Wan was still a little worried. She asked Zhang Xiaobao, let Erniu's family do such a big thing? Why don't we split up and let Cherries do something as well? How big of a thing is it? Why didn't I realize how important this matter is? It's just a small amount of money. Cherries still has other things to do. I don't expect to rely on one thing to make a fortune. I want to continuously make small things and earn a little of each. When added together, it will naturally be more. Cherries, come here. I have something to discuss. Zhang Xiaobao had an indifferent expression. As he spoke, he called out to Cherries, who was still vigilantly looking outside. Little young master, you're looking for me? Cherries also knew about the money Erniu earned these few days. 70 taels 10% was 7 taels of silver. It was enough for her to work for several years without being penalized. Her family was also in Zhuangzi, who didn't want to earn more money for their family. She quickly ran over. Come, I'll draw something for you. Look at it. Zhang Xiaobao picked up the wooden stick and began to draw on the ground. Little young master, what is this? Cherries looked at the drawing and asked. This is called a Kong. Kong? What's it for? This thing is very useful. It's most useful in winter. And it's also useful now. Wait for Erniu to come back. Ask him for money and buy eggs. Buy eggs that are specially laid by roosters and hens. Try not to shake the eggs as much as possible. There are also chickens in my yard. See which chicken is hugging the nest. Ask someone to hold it down, and put your hand in to feel the heat and cold. When the Kong is ready, put the collected eggs on the Kong, and cover it with something. Light the fire until the temperature is about the same as the temperature under the chicken's body. Oh, and try to collect as many eggs as possible. One end should be round, and the other end should be pointed. If both ends are round, you can also collect them. If both ends are pointed, you can forget about it. Cherries blinked and seemed to understand. The little young master wanted to make chickens by himself. He didn't need to hug the nest, but directly use the Kong. If he could really make chickens, it would be crazy. Many people would go crazy. Zhang Xiaobao didn't care how many people would go crazy. He continued to draw and said, Cherries, look at this. Make a small board and arrange a few mirrors. Put the wax in the area surrounded by the mirrors and light it. Hold the egg and look at it. Every 5 or 6 days, look at it again, and see the shadow of the bones inside. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. You don't understand. Cherries nodded and remembered everything Zhang Xiaobao said. She excitedly stood up and left. She was a little dazed. This little young master was really too different from ordinary people. Everyone was confused by what he said. You want to hatch chickens? Look at eggs. What do you mean by round and sharp? Wang Wan waited for Cherries to leave. Wei Wei tilted her head and looked at Zhang Xiaobao. A real expert can directly distinguish the male and female. I don't know how to do that. Usually, the round ones are female, and the sharp ones are male. There is a probability. In this era, chickens are actually not as good as cows and sheep. This requires my next plan. Teach others to eat chickens and various ways to eat them. We can raise chickens and earn a sum of money. When the money is added up, you will find that it is a huge number. Zhang Xiaobao blinked and said, That's not right. How can you, Zhang Xiaobao, only use this thing to earn a sum of money? Then you are not Zhang Xiaobao. Say, what other plans do you have? Your smile is not the smile of a normal person. What is the point of picking out the eggs? Wang Wan did not believe that this international swindler did not have a backup plan. If that was the case, it could be regarded as a world miracle. Zhang Xiaobao scratched his sparse hair with his chubby little hands and pretended to smile shyly. You found out again. Oh God, oh Earth, why did you put a policeman beside me? Actually, it's nothing much. It's just that I'm going to use the chicken to exchange for cows and horses. After all, my family is a landlord, and I can't farm without cows and horses. As for the eggs, I will use them to deceive people, no, to help people. First, I will use mutton soup and fish soup to cook them. Then, I will use the juice of the chili and other things to roast them. They have one effect, and that is to speed up people's blood circulation. People with cardiovascular diseases cannot eat them. When ordinary men eat them, they will find that they are a little impulsive. It is related to what you want to expose me. Not only can it be sold for money, it can be sold for a lot of money. Do you understand? Hooligan. Wang Wan said. Chapter 26. Ernie and Cherries both had things to do. For a time, there was no one to take care of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Wang clan also sent Pomegranate, who had held an umbrella for her before. In the afternoon, under the scorching sun, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were struggling to walk on the sand. Children didn't sweat much, but even so, their foreheads were glistening. The thin clothes they were wearing had been changed once, but the two still had no intention of going back to sleep. Pomegranate water. Xiaobao stopped and raised his arm to wipe the sweat off his forehead. He called out to Shirlu, who was looking at him with a pained heart. Shirlu had been watching all this while. She couldn't figure out why these two children were walking back and forth on this sandy ground. Most children wouldn't be willing to do so, but if the adults forced them to do so, they would have already cried. When she heard the call, she hurriedly took the water beside her and passed it to them. Seeing the two children drinking water with all their might, Pomegranate couldn't understand. They didn't drink tea or sugar water, but insisted on drinking salt water. She had tasted this water before, and it didn't taste good at all. When she drank it, it only felt a little fishy in the mouth. It was not salty, nor was it bland. But the little Gongzi pointed out that they must drink this water. If they drank salt water, wouldn't they be more thirsty? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't know what Pomegranate was thinking. After drinking half a bellyful of salt water, they exhaled comfortably together, stood up straight, and walked forward. Hold on, there are still 200 meters left today. It's only 5 round trips. Just grit your teeth, and it'll be over. This is a rare opportunity. Zhang Xiaobao's calves couldn't help but tremble because of walking on the sand. Their task today was to walk 500 meters. For adults, 500 meters was nothing. But for two children who had just turned 1, it was an overload. I know, children don't want to exercise when they're young, and it's too late when they want to exercise when they're older. With children's bodies and adult perseverance, this is the best opportunity to exercise. I believe that if you continue to train like this, you won't have any problems jumping down from 20 meters. But I guess you won't be able to read at night. You must have no strength at all. Wang Wan also didn't feel good. She fell down while speaking, and slowly got up. That depends. In the future, if you're not literate and don't understand some of the allusions in a contract or something, you'll be at a disadvantage. I can still recognize most of the words, and can write some of them. After all, I stayed on the island for a period of time, so I can't understand the allusions. All I think about is lying all day, so I don't have time to read those. Zhang Xiaobao grinned as he watched Wang Wan get up on her own. He didn't have any intention of helping her. Wang Wan finally got up and held Zhang Xiaobao's hand again as they moved forward together. Her face was red from the sun, but she refused to give up and said, "Yes, I'll learn. Even if I have to lie there, I'll still learn. I was a genius back then. Oh my God, this is even more tiring than when I was in the special operations team. There's no one to give us massages and scientific guidance. Soon we'll reach the end. There are still 4.5 trips left. Stop dreaming. Once we get used to this intensity, we'll have to reformulate the training program. Just bear with it. If you want to show off in front of others, you'll have to suffer behind them. Who asked us to be different from others?" Zhang Xiaobao also staggered. He loosened his grip and fell. He opened his mouth and spat out sand. He pulled Wang Wan's hand and started walking again. The two of them held hands and didn't care about each other's fall. It was only to better control their balance. If they really fell because of physical exhaustion, they didn't care about each other. The strong didn't need anyone's pity. In a room where they could see the situation, a man and a woman stood by the window. Both of them had tears in their eyes as they watched the baby get up after falling. "Xiao, or is this still my son? I heard you say that the incident with Ernia's family was caused by Xiaobao. How old is he? Could he be a monster?" The man asked doubtfully. "What monster? That's my son. Other people's children can't do that, but my son can. He's better than other people's children. When you see a scary place, you have to think. This is a god, not a monster. Whose child can compare to Xiaobao? When I was pregnant with him, I knew that my future son would be different. Look at how much I could eat. I ate more than other men." Zhang Wang Clan retorted. These words were unreasonable. As long as it was her son, he would be better. He would fall more beautifully than other people's children. He could eat a mouthful of sand and still not cry. Whose child could do that? The man was Zhang Xiaobao's bookworm father. He had heard a lot of strange things recently, and one of them was related to his son. So, he took some time to come over with his wife to take a look. He didn't expect to see such a scene. Not to mention a child. Even an adult would hide under the blazing sun. But reality told him that the determination of the two children was terrifying. There were a few times when he wanted to rush over, carry his son, and ask him what he was doing. But he was stopped by his wife. His wife said, "Isn't it good for the children to play?" Other people's children wouldn't move when they were told to. His children were sensible and good-looking. They walked with their legs sometimes high and sometimes low. What was there to be afraid of if they fell? They were fine on the sand. The sand had been sifted and sifted. It was fine and wouldn't hurt anyone. Mr. Zhang thought about what his wife said about Ernia's family earning money. He looked at the two stubborn children in front of him and felt that something was wrong. When he heard Xiao Er's words, he sighed and said, "Aren't you afraid that these two children are possessed by something? Which family's children can be like this?" Cherries was also sent out to collect new eggs. I heard that she's specifically picking them. I don't know what she's doing. If it doesn't work, we'll get a master to take a look. We can't harm our own children. What monster? A monster can call me mother and call you father? Is your family's monster heart so good? This is her ability. Didn't you notice it back then? My stomach is different from other people's? Zhang Wangsher had been in charge of the household for a long time. She was not as respectful to her husband as other people. She would say whatever was on her mind. In any case, she only had one thing in mind. Zhang Xiaobao was her biological son. If her son did well, it was the mother who gave birth to him. What's different? I think it's all the same. Who can eat the same amount? Mr. Zhang felt that he couldn't communicate with his wife. As long as they talked about their son, everything was good. Husband, tell this concubine, which pregnant wife do you think is a good one? If she's from a poor family, we can spend money to buy her. and let you look at her as much as you want?" Zhang Wang Clan asked angrily. Mr. Zhang was really afraid of his wife being like this. Other families had a few women, but his family was different. Wang Qiao, and the Wang family's wife from Zhuangzi joined forces to oppose him. Fortunately, he was focused on obtaining scholarly honors, so it was fine. Now that he had a son, he was fine with it. If other women really came to his house, they might not cause much trouble. But Wang Zhuang's brother gave birth to a daughter. If the next one gave birth to a daughter, couldn't he take in a concubine? He turned to look at Wang Qiao's frosty face and didn't say anything. He just sighed heavily. This was bad. When his sigh was heard by Zhang Wang Clan, her eyes immediately turned red, and she began to cry. She cried and said, "When we first married, what did you say? You said that you would only be good to me. Now, it's fine if you look at someone else's wife's belly. But you actually said that my son is a monster. What did I do in my previous life? Why am I involved in this? I'm going to look for my mother-in-law. Divorce me. I'll just bring my monster son out. Let them be jealous. Madam, don't be angry. Look at our son. He's so good. Even the sound of him choking when drinking water is better than other children. Pomegranate, if you don't look after him and let Xiaobao choke, I'll skin you alive." Mr. Zhang didn't know what to do. Madam said to divorce, but she didn't ask him to. Why did she have to look for her mother-in-law? She was clearly complaining. She was already an adult. It wasn't worth it to let his parents teach her a lesson. He happened to see Xiaobao drinking water and wanted to praise him to divert Madam's attention. He didn't expect to see Xiaobao choking on water. After praising him, he realized that he had vented all his anger on Pomegranate. Needless to say, it really worked this time. When Madame Zhang heard her husband mention the child, she immediately looked over. Her tears were gone, and her sobbing stopped. Only when she saw that her son was fine did she feel relieved. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan heard the sound and turned their heads at the same time. Only then did they realize that someone was watching them. It wasn't that they weren't vigilant. If it was before they started training, they would have already heard the sound. Now they were tired to death, and their body functions were greatly reduced. Just standing up and walking was already putting in all their effort. How could they notice anything else? Should we conserve some of our energy for training in the future? It's too dangerous to do this. We didn't even notice that someone was watching us. Wang Wan poured water on her head to lower her temperature and asked worriedly, "There's no need for that. This is not watching, this is caring. My parents are watching us. Why should we be vigilant? Who should we be vigilant of in our own yard? Not to mention that there won't be any danger. Even if a few people with knives suddenly rushed in to kill us. Do you have a way to avoid them? Hurry up and train, there are still 3.5 more." Zhang Xiaobao still had the mood to wave his small hands at his parents. He turned around and moved forward. "Okay, even if I have to crawl, I will finish this distance." Wang Wan and Wei Wei closed their eyes and relaxed their muscles except for their legs. They swayed as they followed. Zhang Xiaobao's father and Zhang Wang clan saw their son waving his hands. His dirty little face made them want to laugh, but they couldn't. Looking at the few feet of sand, they both knew that their son was challenging his body's limits. "Madam, you're right. No child can compare to Xiaobao and Cuckoo. They're so hard on themselves at such a young age. They'll definitely be even better when they grow up." Zhang Xiaobao's father sighed. Chapter 27. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finished crawling 40 meters of sand, they were so tired that they lay there motionless. Pomegranate, who had been accompanying them the whole time, was really frightened. What kind of children were they? When they crawled the last 20 meters, she clearly saw the two children's short arms and legs trembling nonstop. She knew that she had a similar experience and knew what it felt like. Moreover, her arms and legs were fine before. When she first came to Zhuangzi, she was not familiar with how to do things and was punished. At that time, she kept cursing in her heart, but she did not dare to refuse. If she did not work, her family life would be cut off. At that time, if someone let her rest, she would be grateful to that person for the rest of her life. But now, why did the little master and Cuckoo do this? Did they say that they were playing? Which family's children were so desperate to play? If someone really allowed their children to play like this, the children would have cried and looked for their mother. Thinking of this, Pomegranate felt a little admiration in her heart. She told herself that maybe the children of rich families were so amazing. Looking at the children's sand-covered bodies, red faces and small hands, Pomegranate asked someone to prepare the bathwater and walked closer to the two children, wanting to carry them. "No, we can walk after lying down for a while. Ask someone to heat up the bathwater and warm up the old wine. Just warm up a big pot. Go, don't worry about us." Zhang Xiaobao used all his strength to shake his head and ordered Pomegranate. Pomegranate hesitated for a moment, but still did as the little master said. She did not leave, but stood by the side and arranged everything. "It's so damn comfortable. Aya, when was the last time I was so tired? I miss those days," Zhang Xiaobao said in a muffled voice, basking in the sun, face down, and sticking his head to the wet sand that he had pushed away with his head. "Isn't that so? It's fine today, but it will be hard to train tomorrow. Even if we eat too much milk, we will be hungry at night. Xiaobao, what do you want to eat tonight?" Wang Wan imitated Zhang Xiaobao and used her head to push the sand. "Who knows? I don't want to think about this right now. I just want to lie down and sleep." Zhang Xiaobao stuck his little hands into the sand. It was cool there. Wang Wan followed suit. "No, you have to think carefully. That little milk will affect our training tomorrow. If you can stand greasy food, then drink mutton soup. Ask them to boil the mutton until it's soft. Don't put too much salt and other spices. If you want to eat something light, then eat cucumber and egg soup. Don't put too many cucumbers, stir the eggs, and add some chopped green onions. It's better than going hungry." Zhang Xiaobao wanted to eat something light right now. Mutton soup. Just bear with it if you feel disgusted. After all, it can replenish energy quickly. If there is too much gruel and water, the calories will come slowly. Our rice isn't very good. Wang Wan chose the dish that she didn't want to eat the most. Zhang Xiaobao used all his strength and was finally able to stand up. He pulled Wang Wan, and the two of them walked together to the shade. Their staggering steps made Pomegranate worried. After soaking in the hot water for almost an hour, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan massaged each other with the warm wine. When it was their turn to be massaged, they would bite the clothes next to them and endure the soreness. Everyone was driven out. The two of them didn't want others to see their uncomfortable appearance. "Xiaobao, the alcohol content of this wine is too low. Let's distill it. The body absorbs it slowly, and the alcohol is evaporated." Wang Wan hummed and said, "I don't like it. It's useless. If you want to make drunk prawns, Shaoxing yellow wine is the best. It can be used to treat wounds and disinfect." Wang Wan continued to persuade. She didn't know the steps of distilling, but she thought that Zhang Xiaobao had no problem. "No, I dislike alcohol. It can easily cause pus to form under the scabs. When I was injured before, I directly used yellow iodine water. You can also get injured. You're such a powerful person." Wang Wan had nothing to say. She was almost crying when Zhang Xiaobao massaged her. "How can I be injured? Why don't I get injured? I always get injured when I practice. Luckily, I have the money I stole from the officials to support me. There was once when I jumped down from 13 meters and broke both my legs. 200,000 yuan was sent to the hospital, and they treated me like I was their ancestor. When my legs recovered, I continued to jump and finally found that feeling." After Xiaobao finished massaging Wang Wan's last leg, he directly lay down on the ground. Wang Wan gritted her teeth and got up. She began to massage Zhang Xiaobao. "I, a great beauty, am massaging you. Are you happy? Is it comfortable? What feeling? Now, whoever touches me will have the same feeling. How did you make yellow iodine water? When I was cheating people, I didn't mention this thing. If I knew it would be like this, I would have learned it. It's just a matter of a few sentences, and I can memorize it." Zhang Xiaobao gritted his teeth, sucked in cold air and snorted. "What you asked Ernia's family to do, and what about Cherries' side? Have you thought about what to do in the end? What if it's leaked?" Wang Wan pressed both hands on Zhang Xiaobao's back. Her whole body weight was almost pressing on him. Zhang Xiaobao was just about to speak when he suddenly snorted. When Wang Wan changed positions, he exhaled and said, Don't be afraid. There are many ways to make money. When others learn it, we will do other things. This kind of thing is like cheating people. It needs to be flexible. In this era, it's not easy to keep a secret. Okay, you're good. What about the hot pot? Don't you want to sell it for money? When your family and I are done eating, we'll publicize it for free, so that everyone who is willing to eat like this will know how to make hot pot. When the time comes, we'll sell the ingredients. In fact, the most normal thing to do is to put starch. That way, the meat won't get old easily. I don't know how to do it, so I'll let him cook rice and wheat. This thing has a lot of starch content, so we'll have another source of income when the time comes. Zhang Xiaobao slowly closed his eyes. This kind of massage was really comfortable. The sour feeling was in place, and the pain was good. In the small room, the two of them pressed on each other. Outside, Jiang Wang clan was also eating hard. When Pomegranate arranged for people to make thick mutton soup, Jiang Wang clan also asked people to make pork knuckles for her to eat. The kind without salt. After eating 2 mouthfuls, she felt disgusted. Xiao Qiu, who specially came to serve her, looked at the bowl of greasy pork knuckles. She didn't need to eat it. Just looking at it made her want to vomit. When she saw her madam eating hard, she persuaded her. Madam, this thing is really too greasy. How about adding some salt? It can't go on like this. What salt? Is it still milk with salt? My son and daughter-in-law are tired out today. If I don't eat more, how can I feed them? Other families' children cry hard when there's something wrong, but my 2 children are very sensible. If they're hungry at night, they won't cry like other families' children. They'll bear with it. The more they act like this, the more my heart aches. Tonight, when you sleep next to them, listen carefully. If there's any sound, wake me up to feed them. Jiang Wang clan said a few words and began to eat again. Thinking of the sweet smile of the children when they were full and sleeping, she felt that the pork knuckles didn't seem so greasy anymore. Madam, why don't you find 2 wet nurses? It's too tiring for you to feed 2 children by yourself. Xiao Qiu persuaded. No, I'll feed my children myself. I still have pork knuckles to eat. Many families want to eat meat but can't. Didn't they also survive? As Jiang Wang clan spoke, she picked up a piece of fatty meat that was about 1 inch thick and stuffed it into her mouth. There was a smile on her face, as if she had won a battle. At night, just as Jiang Wang clan had predicted, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would wake up after 2 hours of sleep. When the muscles were regenerating, they consumed a lot of calories. The prepared mutton soup was given to Jiang Wang clan, and the 2 of them were still drinking milk. The next day, when Jiang Wang clan went to do other things, Zhang Xiaobao called Pomegranate and asked, "What did my mother eat before dinner last night?" In reply to the young master, it was pork knuckles. Pomegranate replied, "Okay, you can go now. Xiaobao, pork knuckles can't be used so quickly, right?" Wang Wan waited for Pomegranate to leave the room and asked, "The milk we ate yesterday had nothing to do with pork knuckles. This is a kind of self-hypnosis. My mother thought that pork knuckles could produce more milk, so she kept thinking that she had more milk. In the end, she really did have milk. It's like a sleepwalker climbing a tall building. In that state, she thought that she could climb up. As long as her body functions meet the requirements, she could climb up." Zhang Xiaobao explained, "Oh, so are we still going to walk on the sand today?" Wang Wan nodded to show that she understood. She didn't say too much. They were all adults, so there was no need to say words of gratitude. "We can walk on the sand. You should have noticed that we don't feel uncomfortable at all. This is the benefit of a child's body. The recovery speed is very fast. Let's walk around outside today. I want to familiarize myself with the things on Zhuangzi. You let Pomegranate lead you, and I'll look for cherries." Zhang Xiaobao made the decision. When she finished drinking the milk, she was carried out. Zhang Xiaobao wanted to see what was planted on Zhuangzi, and whether it could increase the yield. Wang Wan was assigned the task of understanding the farmer's thoughts. They split up to act. Cherries went to buy eggs yesterday. Today, she didn't need to go personally. Someone sent the eggs over. They were all newly laid according to her request. At least one end of the eggs was round, and they couldn't shake too much. Zhang Xiaobao was a little worried about this last point. As if she knew the young master's worries, Cherries directly said to Zhang Xiaobao. Young master, don't worry. These people won't dare to lie to us. I will mark the eggs they send over. I will go to whichever family has more necrotic eggs. That's good. I'm not worried. You brought the chicks out. What are you going to feed them? Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while. The people here were different from the people in his era. There weren't that many bad people. What are you going to feed them? Just drive them out and feed them. They can find something to eat. They can even eat sand. Cherries casually replied. That won't do. My chickens must be stronger than other people's chickens. Chapter 28. When Zhang Xiaobao said those words, many ideas formed in his mind in an instant. He looked at Cherries' puzzled eyes and said, just the free-range farming alone takes a long time. I have to gather a lot of money in a short period of time. Listen to me. Go back and find a few servants and ask them to collect the rotten rice or wheat stalks, especially those piles of firewood used by the other people in the farmstead. The weather was fine, and it had rained earlier. The bottom of the pile of firewood must have rotted. They also wanted to dry it. You can just use money to collect it. You can give them money. Those things are not valuable. You can just give them as you see fit. You can collect them all and transport them to the worst piece of land behind my house, where you can take turns to rest and bury them. Then find someone to catch earthworms. Yes, they are called earthworms. Throw them in and raise them. Also get some feces. When it's almost night, you can do it yourself. You can also find someone to pick up the rotten fish and shrimp thrown away by others in the market. It's even better if there are river snails. Bring them all back and find an open space to dry. Little young master, what are you going to do? Those fish can't be eaten anymore. Cherries was confused. She felt that this little young master's thoughts could not be looked at with normal eyes. So stupid. Didn't we just talk about raising chickens? Of course, we will grind these things into powder and feed them to the chickens. At that time, our chickens will grow the fastest and lay the most eggs. There won't be any soft-shelled eggs. Zhang Xiaobao found that the most painful thing in life was that others could not understand you when you were talking. If this was his subordinate in the past, he would definitely be angered to death. Why didn't they open their shells? Oh, I understand. Little young master, you are really amazing. I don't know if it will work, but I think what you said is right. When the time comes, we will sell eggs. If the chickens don't lay eggs, we can still sell chickens. We don't have to pay for the things we pick up. It's a business without cost. Cherries felt that she had figured it out. Zhang Xiaobao raised his hand and patted his forehead. He found that if he really let Cherries take charge alone, she was still too far away. Fortunately, he did not directly complain about Cherries. He felt that he did not take good care of his subordinates, so he could only patiently train them. He said to Cherries, my family doesn't sell eggs. I'm still keeping those eggs to make cakes. Otherwise, if you go and buy eggs, you'll lose a lot of money in the process. Wouldn't it be better if we keep that part of the profit? Why give it to others? The thing I asked Ernia's family to make can be used to make cakes. Even if I tell you, you won't understand. You'll have to learn bit by bit. Yes, young master is indeed a demon. No, he is the reincarnation of an immortal. Everyone says so. Cherries flattered. This made Zhang Xiaobao worried. It turned out that he and Wang Wan had already attracted the attention of others. There were even rumors of the reincarnation of a seductress. Who was it? Was it intentional or not? On this day, he still had to hide his actions. He had to waste a lot of energy. How much money could he earn with that energy? He had to investigate this matter thoroughly and think of a way to keep it quiet. Everyone knew that the rafters that stuck out would rot first. What should he do? It was better to discuss with his mother. Who would harm his mother but not him? Of course, that Wu Meinyang who was already dead was an exception. That was the real demon. Young master, is that all? Is there anything else? Cherries saw that the young master didn't speak for a while and was a little scared. The young master's face was too gloomy. When an adult made such an expression, others would know that he was angry. When a child made such an expression, it was a little scary, especially the child's eyes. As long as one looked into them, one would feel guilty. It was too pure and empty. Yes, there's something else. I want to ask you now. Who said that we are demons or demons? Zhang Xiaobao didn't have a smile on his face at this time. Usually, he would use a baby face and a child's smile to talk to others. Young master, what's wrong? It's little Seven. It's little Seven who was chopping firewood in the kitchen. He said that when he was taking firewood, he heard the master in the backyard saying that the young master is a demon. Cherries was frightened. Little Seven, how long has he been working in my house? What did he do in the past? Zhang Xiaobao didn't expect that the root of this matter was actually his father. Of course, he couldn't complain to his father. At that time, his father must have been talking to his mother. Why was little Seven's ear so sharp? Why was his mouth so annoying? He, Wang Wan, had been very careful, afraid that others would know too much. He had asked Erniu to keep it a secret, and asked Cherries to keep it a secret, and let others do the work. His mother was smart. It was fine if she knew, but if others knew, it would be troublesome. A tree that stood out in the forest would be destroyed by the wind. A beach higher than the shore would be swept away by the current. As a swindler, the most important thing was to hide. If a swindler was caught, what would the consequences be? He didn't expect that there would be internal problems. Zhang Xiaobao considered all these and could only sigh. After all, this family was not built by him, and the quality of the people was too poor. The only thing he had to do now was to figure out little Seven. If he deliberately spread the news, then there was only one result: death. If he didn't mean to, then he had to think of a way to tidy up Zhuangzi. This was troublesome. When he used these people, he couldn't order them around like an extension of his arm. But he couldn't always add to his troubles. Little young master, you said that you still have something to do. What do you want me to do? Cherries asked. Oh, let's talk about serious matters. Let me ask you. When the people in Zhuangzi and the Wang family finish eating the eggs, where do the eggshells go? After eating the chicken, where do the feathers go? After all, Zhang Xiaobao wasn't someone who hadn't seen storms. He wouldn't let one thing affect the overall plan. Of course they throw it away. It's the same in my house. They throw some away every day. The house that Cherries was talking about was Zhang Xiaobao's house. Throw it away? Really throw it away? Does that mean that those in the restaurants are also thrown away? Good, that's great. Cherries, I'll give you a new task. Find someone else. You're too busy. Go and collect the things that are thrown away for me. Zhang Xiaobao was very happy. These were all good things for making fodder. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't know how to make down jackets, and was afraid that the current cloth would leak, he could even make down jackets. Why are they all useless things that don't cost money? Cherry said softly. She looked up and saw that the little young master was looking at her. She quickly said, Okay, little young master. I'll go back and arrange for people to collect the things you mentioned. Little young master, it's too hot here. Let's sit under the shade of a tree. And that's good. This land is also my house, right? Why are you planting trees? Zhang Xiaobao was led by Cherries to a big tree. He sat on a rock that was cushioned by cherries, and pointed to a forest in the distance. In reply to little young master's question, this is Yongye Field. The people above told us to plant trees. Oh, is there this kind of awareness now? That's not right. I remember that in this era, it's destroying forests to build fields. Zhang Xiaobao was a little confused. Cherries also didn't understand what the little young master was talking about. She thought that the little young master was asking about the forest. She said, These places are all mulberry trees. They have to hand in a lot of silk every year. Xiaobao immediately understood. So it wasn't a simple forest. There had to be some sort of output. And it wasn't the output of wood processing. If that was the case, then he could use his brain in the forest. Zhang Xiaobao began to carry out the next step of the plan. His brain was about to turn into paste. Especially that little Seven, she was too hateful. Wang Wan's mission was to observe the local customs. She was carried by Pomegranate and walked around. They walked and walked until they reached the small bridge outside Zhuangzi. After crossing this bridge, they were considered to be out of the Wang family's and Zhangjie Zhuangzi's sphere of influence. Pomegranate didn't dare to walk. She carried Wang Wan and sat on a stool on the other side of the bridge. She pointed at the trickling water and said to Wang Wan, "Cuckoo, do you see this water? It's so cool. When you grow up, you can go down and play." Wang Wan didn't care if the water was cool or not. She wanted to hear other people talk about their daily lives. But the problem was that there was no one around. If she talked to Pomegranate, she might as well go home. She looked around and found a few black spots at the lower end of the river. She reached out and pointed in that direction and asked, "What's that?" "That's a wild boy swimming." Of course Shirley saw it. Not only were the children from the two villages playing there, even some children from the other side of the bridge were there. They were having a water fight with their buttocks bare. She felt that it should not be seen by the young lady of the Wang family. "I want to see." Wang Wan struggled hard in that direction, trying to escape from Pomegranate's embrace. Pomegranate patiently persuaded her. The result was needless to say. Wang Wan won. Pomegranate carried Wang Wan and walked over. Wang Wan wanted to see the child's body condition. Did she have enough nutrition? Then she looked at the clothes on the shore. Was the family rich? Just as they were about to reach the place, a child suddenly ran over from the other side of the bridge and shouted to the other children in the water, "Go and see. The great philanthropist's song is here." When the children heard this, they came out of the water and quickly put on their clothes. No matter which Zhuangzi it was, they all ran over there. "What great philanthropist?" Wang Wan asked. "Hey, someone is going to be fooled again. How can there be a great philanthropist? He is a liar. This liar song is very good. He has deceived so many people, but there are still people who call him a great philanthropist. Let's go back. Otherwise, when he sees you cuckoo, he will also deceive you. We can't afford to offend him, but we can still hide." Pomegranate sighed and called him a liar. She carried Wang Wan and was about to leave. If it was something else, Wang Wan would really leave. When she heard that he was a great philanthropist and a liar, she suddenly smiled and said to Pomegranate, "What liar? He must be a great philanthropist." "Little girl, he is really a liar. Don't go there. It is said that once you see that person, you will be deceived." Pomegranate was scared. No, he must not be a liar. How can there be a liar in such a good place? Go, stop a child who hasn't run far. Ask him to go back to Zhuangzi and bring Xiaobao here. When Xiaobao comes, you can ask Xiaobao. There is no such thing as a liar. There is no such thing as a good person, Wang Wan said with certainty. Chapter 29. Song Jinggong was an orphan. Years ago, there was an epidemic and everyone in the village died, leaving only him, who was 10 years old. He begged for food and was looked down upon by others. He accepted it. After all, others looked down on beggars like him. The only thing he couldn't accept was that some people beat and scolded him, scolded his parents, and beat him black and blue. There were several times when he thought he was going to die, but it seemed that God didn't want him to die just like that. He always survived at the last moment. Until now, he still remembered that there was a boss in Zhuangzi who had nothing to do, and sent his dog to bite him. That big Zhuangzi didn't even give him a bite of food. He didn't even enter the yard. So why did he send the dog to bite him? From then on, he swore that he would definitely get his revenge. First, he eavesdropped outside some of the schools built by the rich. Later, he found that it was better not to learn those kinds of knowledge. When he was 15, he finally earned some money by working for others. Before he could have a good meal, he met an old man who was about to die from illness. After some hard work, he found that the old man knew a lot of things. Finally, there was someone who could teach him. When he was 20, the old man died. From then on, he made up his mind to use what he had learned to take revenge on those rich people. 10 years later, he cheated many people, but also helped many others. This time, he set his target on Gezhuang. He thought that he could trick them, but they ignored him. Just when he was sulking, he heard someone say that there were 2 more Zhuangzi across the bridge. Now he was tempted again. He slowly walked toward the Wang family's Zhuangzi and Zhangjia Zhuangzi. "Cherries, don't worry if you don't understand. My plan is too long, so you can take it one step at a time. Let's go, take me to other places." When Zhang Xiaobao was trying his best to train Cherries, he saw the confused look on her face. He realized that he was too anxious. He was afraid that Cherries would be shocked and lose her confidence, so he patiently tried to persuade her. Yes, little lord, you're amazing. I'm going to learn from you. Little lord, actually, I've never thought of you as a monster. It's just that Cherries' big sister Pomegranate wants you to bring young Master Xiaobao over there. She says that she has something to discuss. Just when Cherries wanted to say a few more words to Zhang Xiaobao, a child ran over and shouted at Cherries. Cherries knew this child. He was a child of a family in Zhuangzi. His name was Little Shirtu. Looking at Little Shita's anxious appearance, she nodded and said with a smile, "Okay, I'll go now. Little Shirtu is a good child." Hearing the praise, Little Shirtu shyly rubbed his head, turned around and ran away again. Little lord, Pomegranate wants us to go over. Do you think we should go or not? Cherries didn't know why Pomegranate wanted her. She still wanted to carry the little lord, so she asked inquisitively. Zhang Xiaobao instantly realized that this was definitely not Pomegranate's intention. Pomegranate wouldn't dare to ask him to go over. Needless to say, other than Pomegranate, there was only Wang Wan left. It was guaranteed that there was something important to discuss. He nodded, opened his arms, and let Cherries carry him. He said, "Let's go. Hurry up. Maybe there's something urgent." Call back the child who hasn't run far, and ask him what he saw and heard. Cherries carried the little lord, called Little Shirtu, and called him over to ask him. Of course, Little Shirtu didn't know why Pomegranate wanted him to come over and find someone. So he shook his head blankly. "I'm not asking about Pomegranate. I'm asking about you playing over there. Did you encounter anything fun?" Zhang Xiaobao saw that Cherries didn't know how to ask, so he had to interject. "Little boss, I was playing in the water with the other people on Zhuangzi. It was really fun. Oh yes, we heard that the great philanthropist song was coming, so we all ran over. I was too slow." Little Shirtu was a little nervous when facing the young master of the main family, so he couldn't speak clearly. "Who is the great philanthropist song? Who gave you things for free?" When Zhang Xiaobao heard this, he felt that there was something wrong. He always felt that if a person was really kind, then he wouldn't have a reputation. Those who had a reputation were not good people. He had seen a lot of people like this. When there was a natural disaster, they would try their best to advertise how kind they were. They would take out a lot of money and wait for the media to flatter them. They had a reputation, but they didn't take out the money at all. He had also seen a real kind person. Wherever there was a need for help, some people would drive their own off-road vehicle, install a satellite phone, and bring a car full of first aid supplies. When they arrived at the place, they would give out the supplies. If anyone was in danger, they would call. When the supplies were gone, they would drive elsewhere to buy more. Then this great philanthropist song definitely didn't belong to the latter. What was he doing here? Was it to gain a reputation? While Zhang Xiaobao was guessing, Little Shirtu said again, "In fact, the great philanthropist song is really a good person. He has helped a lot of poor people. But there are always some people who say that he is a liar. I heard that it was spread by a few rich people in Zhuangzi." When he said this, Xiaobao was stunned. It was a familiar feeling. Helping the poor and deceiving the rich was what he had done in the past. The problem was that when he was in China, he usually didn't deceive proper businessmen. He usually deceived officials. Could it be that the great philanthropist song was looking for the rich to do this? It was too extreme. It was really a little extreme. Thinking about this, they went all the way to the bridge. Wang Wan and Pomegranate were waiting. When the two met, Wang Wan said first, "Xiaobao." Pomegranate said that the great philanthropist song is a liar. "I don't think it's possible. What do you think?" Zhang Xiaobao understood when he heard this. Looking at Wang Wan's excited eyes, he had to say, "Cuckoo is right. How can there be a liar in such a good place? A good person, definitely a good person. I promise. Let's wait here. A good person shouldn't only do good to the people across the bridge." As he said this, he glared at Wang Wan and blamed her for being a busybody. Wang Wan smiled. She really hoped that it was a liar. It would be very fun to meet Zhang Xiaobao. Liar? How capable could a liar in this era be? International liars were all doing business honestly. Who dared to cheat them? She had to see for herself who it was. Thinking of this, She was afraid that the liar wouldn't come. She said, "Why don't we go over and take a look?" "Forget it. Let's not go over. This side of the bridge is our place. If we go over, it's their place. We have to give them a chance." Zhang Xiaobao vetoed this suggestion. If they really went over, it would be considered offensive. If they waited here, it would be considered defensive. There were too many people in the world who were not pleasing to the eye. They could not go looking for trouble for no reason. Pomegranate and Cherries didn't know what the two children were talking about, but they were anxious. If Little Master and Cuckoo were wronged, it would be troublesome. They were especially vigilant against that liar song. Pomegranate first persuaded from the side. "Little Master, that person is really a liar. Let's just wait here for a while. If that person comes, don't pay attention to him, okay? Pomegranate, you don't have to worry about this kind of thing. We'll just play here. When he comes, he will naturally know what's going on. Don't always listen to others. You have to see it with your own eyes. Hearing is false, seeing is not necessarily the truth. In short, just wait." Wang Wan wanted to catch the liar now. Maybe it was a professional habit. Zhang Xiaobao didn't say a word. Looking at the bridge in front of him, he knew that the river passed by his house. He immediately thought of a new way to earn money. He wanted to implement it, but he found that there were too few people around him. Moreover, the investment this time would not be small. Just as he was thinking about when to implement it, a person walked over from the other side of the bridge, and a group of people surrounded him. When Wang Wan saw that person, her eyes lit up. She could guess that that person should be Liar Song. Oh, he should be called Great Philanthropist Song. She turned her head and glanced at Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao helplessly shook his head and sighed. This person really didn't know when to stop. He originally thought that he wouldn't come here. But he didn't expect that he would bump into the muzzle of the gun. Was this bridge so easy to cross? "Little young master, that's the Great Liar Song. If he comes over, you and your wife must not speak. Just ignore him." Pomegranate became nervous. Her eyes stared at the person opposite of them, hoping that he wouldn't come over. That person didn't seem to hear Pomegranate's inner thoughts. Finally, he walked to the bridge with a smile on his face. While talking to the people around him, he looked at the two children in silk clothes, and the person holding the children. That smile suddenly became brighter. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao saw that person's smile, they also smiled. Wang Wan was smiling because she could finally fight against criminals again. Zhang Xiaobao was smiling a little bitterly. There was a road to heaven, but you didn't take it. But there was no door to hell. Well, I need to revise my trickery. I haven't cheated for a long time. I miss it. How could Song Jinggong know what he was going to face? As soon as he saw the two children, he was happy. The people in Guzhuang were afraid, but the people in this place might not be so. Especially the existence of the two children, it was really good. He found another excuse. After saying a few words to the people around him, he quickly walked over and took out 2 sugar figurines from his sleeves. Song Jinggong thought that the two children would be moved by the lifelike sugar figurines. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were still judging whether this great philanthropist Song was really a liar like what Pomegranate said. Now when they saw the sugar figurines, they determined this person's character. He was unaccountably solicitous. He even brought props with him. It seemed that he was also a habitual offender. Look at this child. How nice. Come, taste the sugar figurines. Song Jinggong waved the 2 little sugar figurines in front of the children and said, "Who are you? How dare you take out things for my little young master and my wife to eat? Are you tired of living?" When she saw the Great Liar Song coming and holding the sugar figurines, Pomegranate scolded with a cold face. This time, Song Jinggong was even more happy. From these words, he determined the identity of the 2 children. He stared at the children's eyes and said, Yes, I shouldn't let your little young master and your wife eat these things. I'll put them away. These children are really beautiful. I fell in love with them at first sight. You are?" Chapter 30. Song Jinggong wanted to get to the bottom of this, so that he could deceive them. When he asked, he looked into the eyes of the 2 children. He thought that the 2 children would clamor for such a beautiful candy man. He had already thought of how to deal with it. As long as the children liked him, he would have succeeded in the first step. Unfortunately, what he saw was that the two children's eyes only glanced at the candy figurine for a moment before ignoring it. Instead, they looked at him and smiled sweetly. However, why did this smile feel a little off? Could it be that the children all smiled like this? It was a little cold. Who are you? I am the young master of Zhangjia Zhuangzi. Zhang Xiaobao blinked his big pure eyes and asked curiously. Wang Wan also tilted her head and cooperated with Zhang Xiaobao. Yes, who are you? I am the young lady of the Wang family in Zhuangzi. Song Jinggong was not surprised at all when he heard the inarticulate voice. He thought that the two kids must have been taught to speak by their families. Families with a little bit of money were all like this. They always felt that their children were better than others, so they taught them a few words so that others would praise them. Thinking of this, Song Jinggong made a funny face at the two children, preparing to make them laugh. In the end, the two children turned their heads at the same time. This confirmed his guess that they were not smart children. In fact, when Wang Wan turned her head, she saw that when Song Jinggong made the face, there was something on his teeth. It was disgusting. Zhang Xiaobao was not willing to talk to this person anymore. If he wanted to deceive them, he did not need to do anything. It seemed that this swindler was preparing to go to the family to deceive the adults. When Song Jinggong saw the appearance of the two children, he felt that he could not use the original method. He could only say to the two maidservants, "My name is Song Jinggong. When I saw that your young master and young lady are so good, I suddenly decided to help you too, Zhuangzi. Quickly take me to see your family head." You want to see our family head? Was he dreaming? If I were you, I would leave immediately. Our Zhuangzi doesn't need people like you. Pomegranate looked coldly at Song Jinggong and sneered. She didn't give him any face. It was the same for Cherry. It was as if Song Jinggong was an enemy. She pulled Xiaobao into her arms and hugged him tightly. She turned her head and looked elsewhere. Failure, it's really a failure. Being a swindler to this extent. How can he continue to be a swindler when others are already on their guard? Cherries and pomegranate are not bad. They know how to distinguish between people and help the family avoid a lot of dangers. Zhang Xiaobao held back his laughter and rubbed Cherries' neck with his head. Cherries liked these two children very much. Looking at the cute appearance of the little child, she felt that Pomegranate would not see it and go back to tell Madam. So she turned her head and kissed Zhang Xiaobao hard on the face. Wang Wan saw the situation and was afraid that Song Jinggong would not go and swindle them. Then how would she catch the swindler? She could only say to Pomegranate, "Go home, I want to go home." Pomegranate also had the same idea. She turned around and walked back with Wang Wan in her arms, not even looking at Song Jinggong. Cherries naturally followed behind. Seeing the two maidservants leave with the children, Song Jinggong was not angry at all. He smiled and followed behind. The children who were watching the fun just now were not willing to continue following them when they saw that they were back on the other side of the river. They all jumped into the river and continued playing their games. The adults who followed them also turned back when they realized that they were no longer in Zhuangzi. "Why are you following us?" After walking for a while, Pomegranate realized that the great swindler Song Jinggong was actually following them. She stopped and turned around to ask him angrily, "When did I follow you? Could it be that Zhuangzi is your family's, so I can't walk? It's not like I entered your courtyard." Song Jinggong did not care at all, and said with a smile, "Then you can follow us. Don't think that you can trick my mistress. My mistress will not fall for your tricks." Pomegranate said bluntly. She carried Wang Wan and quickly walked back. She was prepared to call the servants to chase them away when they reached the courtyard. If she had known that she would meet this swindler, she would have brought a few servants with her when she came out. "Miss, perhaps you have misunderstood. I, Song Jinggong, have never lied to anyone. You need to have proof for your words. Otherwise, I will report you to the officials. I am a high scholar after all." Song Jinggong threatened. "And a swindler will always be a swindler. Who knows how you got your high scholar title?" Pomegranate whispered softly. This time, she really did not continue to scold Song Jinggong. After all, She knew that a high scholar was not to be trifled with. Her master did not have such a status yet. Seeing that the two servants were afraid, Song Jinggong felt proud of himself. This high scholar title was really useful. He had cheated so many people. Wasn't it because they could not find anything that could be used against him? And because of his status, they could not report him to the officials? High scholar Xiaobao, can you win against him? Wang Wan was carried by Pomegranate and walked in front of Zhang Xiaobao. She turned her head and mouthed to him. High scholar Xiaobao, can you win against him? A high scholar is nothing. When I was a swindler, I had a group of professors under me. 4 of them were top scorers in the National College entrance examinations. How dare he cheat my family? I will let him know why the flowers are so red. You go first, I will delay him. You go back, and tell my mother about the situation here. Ask her to prepare. Let's talk about it later. Zhang Xiaobao did not want to let a swindler off so easily. Since he was here, he had to treat him well. He asked Wang Wan to go back first and report the situation. The advantage of having a few meetings was that there would be more time for discussion. Okay, I will ask Pomegranate to go quickly. Aren't you going to prepare? Looking at the jade pendant hanging on his waist, I can guess that he has succeeded many times. Wang Wan and Wei Wei nodded and asked, Go ahead. What do I have to prepare? How many tricks does he have? Compared to me, he is not even on the same level. I must let him see who is the real ancestor of swindlers. And this question is a bit deep. Zhang Xiaobao also let loose today and started to chat with Wang Wan. After Pomegranate heard Wang Wan's words, she increased her speed and ran away first. Song Jinggong did not know what was going on. He wanted to chase after her, but he also wanted to follow this little boy. Just as he did not know what to do, Zhang Xiaobao spoke. Liar, swindler. When these 3 words came out from Zhang Xiaobao's mouth, Zhang Xiaobao even pointed at Song Jinggong. Little master, I am not a swindler. I am a good person. Song Jinggong was really scared now. He was not afraid that the 2 maids would go back and tell them. He believed that he had the ability to make the person in charge of Zhuangzi listen to his money-making plan. But he was afraid of this child, especially a little boy. He had already inquired from the people in Gezhuang that there was only one boy in this generation of Zhangjia Zhuangzi. What did a boy mean? All the love was given to this child. When the time came, don't say that he really wanted to cheat. Even if he did not cheat, this child could change the parents' minds with just one sentence. There was a most convincing saying that children could tell good from bad when they saw people, especially children who were not very sensible. It was said that children had the purest hearts and the clearest eyes. Song Jinggong did not want to waste his previous efforts because of a child. He was thinking about how to make this child like him. Then it would be easy. After thinking about it, he took out a peachwood Xiaobao sword from his sleeve. There was a red string on it. Holding one end of the string, he waved the sword in front of Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao laughed. He did not look at the sword, but pointed at Song Jinggong and said, Money, money. If Wang Wan was here, she would definitely laugh until she was out of breath. This Zhang Xiaobao was really too cruel. Song Jinggong was not Wang Wan. Of course, he did not know what he was going to face. When he heard such a small child shouting for money, he thought that it must be his parents who taught him to know about money from a young age. This kind of person must be cheated. Yes, he must pass the test of the child in front of him. Money. Okay, money. Thinking about this, Song Jinggong took out a copper coin from his sleeve. On it was written Kaiyuan Tongbao. He laughed and handed it to Zhang Xiaobao. When Xiaobao saw that it was only 1 copper coin, he didn't even think about it. He waved his small hand and knocked the money to the ground. He continued to point at Song Jinggong and said, Silver, silver. Cherries was carrying the little master. Originally, she should have left quickly. However, when she heard the little master's words, she slowly swayed behind him and did not care about anything else. At this time, she could only endure this big liar's harassment. Song Jinggong picked up the copper coin that was knocked away. He cursed in his heart. Such a small child, and he already started to recognize money. Could it be that the master of Zhuangzi threw a child into the pile of money for no reason? Gritting his teeth, He took out the one tael of broken silver and reluctantly handed it to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao did not stand on ceremony. He took it and continued to shout for money. Seeing Song Jinggong's helpless gaze, he felt that the other party did not have any more money. He began to talk about money again. Song Jinggong still had money. It was not much, only 100 copper coins. If it was too heavy, he took it out and handed it to Zhang Xiaobao. This time it was heavier than the money from before. Zhang Xiaobao used his hands to hold the string of money and placed it between himself and Cherry's. His eyes were fixed on the jade pendant on Song Jinggong's waist. The string of the jade pendant was tied to the waist. The jade pendant fell to the thigh and could be pressed against the clothes. Zhang Xiaobao just stared at it and did not speak. Song Jinggong suddenly felt uncomfortable in his heart. He did not know why, but he followed the child's gaze and saw the jade pendant. If Zhang Xiaobao had been staring at the jade pendant from the beginning, then Song Jinggong definitely would not have given it to him. After all, it was bought with 5 strings of coins. No matter how good the jade was, it was not cheap. Zhang Xiaobao was using psychology. This was called giving him an inch and taking a yard. He wanted a little bit. In any case, he had already given him a little bit. Was there a need for another little bit? This was because Zhang Xiaobao was still too young. If he was a little older, he would be able to take a yard and ask for more. If you did not give, then he would ask for less. He would make you feel that you could not always refuse, and thus agree to the smaller requests later. How could Song Jinggong know these things? He could not imagine what kind of person the child in front of him was. He steeled his heart and took off the jade pendant. Panting heavily, he handed it over. He thought that if he did not cheat 100 taels this time, he would not give up. Chapter 31. With the dream of getting rich again, Song Jinggong followed behind Cherries and smiled at Zhang Xiaobao from time to time. Zhang Xiaobao responded with an even cuter smile. In a harmonious atmosphere, the 3 of them arrived at the Zhang family's courtyard in Zhuangzi. The Zhang Wang clan, who had already received Wang Wan's report in advance, did not come out to meet them this time. Even if Song Jinggong urgently requested, it was only Steward Zhang who came out as a representative. "Little master, whose things are you holding in your hand? We can't accept other people's things. Quick, return them." Steward Zhang followed the instructions and cooperated with the little master as soon as he saw him. This made Zhang Xiaobao stunned. He clearly did not tell anyone in advance that he would cheat people of money and things. How could Steward Zhang be so reasonable? Of course, Zhang Xiaobao would not return the money and things. Since he was here to cheat, he had to be aware that he would be cheated. He pretended to let Steward Zhang take the money and jade pendant from his hand and hand them back to Song Jinggong. His eyes moved along the things. Just as Song Jinggong was happy that his things were going to be returned, he suddenly said, "Cheat, cheat. Steward Zhang, what are you saying? Your little master is very cute. I gave this to him. It's just a little thing. Why do you have to be like this?" To tell you the truth, when I saw the little master, I felt that it was fate. Song Jinggong saw that the things in the little boy's hand were gone, and he was going to call him a cheat. He did not dare to take back the things. He took them and gave them to Zhang Xiaobao. Seeing the little master's smiling face again, he felt weak all over. He was scared. Steward Zhang nodded and said with a smile, "Little Master Song, in that case, thank you very much. Oh, since Little Master Song has come from afar, why don't you rest in the courtyard before making other plans?" These words sounded a bit like a rejection, but Song Jinggong didn't refuse at all. He came with a purpose, so he immediately seized the opportunity. "If that's the case, then I'm sorry to disturb you. It just so happens that I want to discuss a big deal with the manager of your village." Steward Zhang didn't say anything else. He only replied that he would go and report. He led the people into the living room and then turned to leave. Zhang Xiaobao got down from Cherries' arms and walked back step by step. He wanted to find Steward Zhang and ask him how he knew that he had cheated. In a room, Wang Wan was being hugged by Zhang Wang clan. She kept calling her mother-in-law. To be honest, she didn't like it, but in order to survive, she had to marry Zhang Xiaobao. She wouldn't allow herself to marry someone who couldn't keep up with her thoughts at all. From now until they grew up and got married, it was a time for them to cultivate feelings. They would understand the same world, speak the same language, and have the same ideals. In the end, it wouldn't be difficult for them to be together. She would just treat it as an experience of this new era. Mother-in-law, even if we expose that swindler in the end, don't report it to the authorities. I wonder how much money Xiao Bao can swindle this time. Wang Wan tried to make herself sound more intimate, even though she still couldn't get used to this identity. Okay, I will listen to Cuckoo. Can Cuckoo tell mother-in-law how you know that Xiao Bao can swindle money? Zhang Wang clan had long realized that this future daughter-in-law and son of hers were too smart. But so what? Xiang Lu became Kong Shi at the age of 7, and Gan Luo became a high official at the age of 12. Wouldn't her son and daughter-in-law be smarter? Xiao Bao told me before he came back. Wang Wan replied. Of course, she couldn't say that she knew this swindler very well, and had done a lot of research on him. If such a person didn't swindle a swindler from the beginning to the end, it would be a disgrace to the international reputation of swindlers. Zhang Xiaobao went through a few rooms and asked the servants, but in the end, he still couldn't find manager Zhang. He could only go back and ask Wang Wan. He believed that this definitely had something to do with Wang Wan. As expected, the moment he entered the room, he saw Wang Wan in his mother's arms asking him with her lips, "How much money did you swindle?" "We split it 50-50. Zhang Xiaobao could only sigh. Knowing each other too well wasn't a good thing. There were no secrets to speak of. Ignoring Wang Wan, he opened his arms and walked towards his mother shouting, "Mother, Xiaobao is back." His shout was so natural that Wang Wan couldn't help but shiver. Thinking back to Zhang Xiaobao's age in the past, she thought that there must be something wrong with his head. At this moment, manager Zhang was accompanied by 2 guards, interrogating Xiao Qi, who was locked up in one of the rooms. "Speak, who sent you here to spread rumors? You signed an irrevocable contract. If you don't speak, no one will pursue the matter even if you are beaten to death." Manager Zhang was no longer respectful in front of the madam. His face was as calm as water. As the manager of Zhangjia Zhuangzi, he was bound together with the Zhang family for good or ill. This position was passed down from generation to generation. He had his own courtyard on Zhuangzi, his own parents, wife and children. He wouldn't allow anyone to destroy this happiness. Xiaoqi didn't have his own surname, and didn't know who his parents were. Ever since he could remember, he was an orphan. Later on, he was caught and sold to Zhangjia Zhuangzi. He didn't need to pay for his own food, clothes and lodging. Every month, he received a salary of more than 10 copper coins. This was a treatment that could only be obtained after working for 10 years. When he heard the manager's question, he looked at the manager and the 2 people behind him, who also had unkind expressions. He was so frightened that he knelt on the ground with a thud. "Manager Zhang, I didn't spread any rumors. What are you talking about?" Xiaoqi didn't know what he did wrong. He thought that manager Zhang was deliberately finding fault with him. "It seems that you aren't telling the truth. Didn't you spread the news that the little master and the Wang family's young lady are monsters? Let him know what's good for him." Manager Zhang stared at Xiaoqi and waved his hand. The 2 people behind him rushed forward. Song Jinggong waited in the living room for a full hour, before steward Zhang returned. "Young Master Song, I'm really sorry. I couldn't find the madam, and went outside to look for her. In the end, I've only just returned. It's a pity that the madam is tired, and went to bed early after feeding the little master. I don't know if young Master Song has something important to say. I'll let the madam know." After manager Zhang finished interrogating Xiaoqi, he came to the living room and said to Song Jinggong. This was arranged early on. Song Jinggong couldn't guess if these words were reliable. After thinking about it, he decided not to tell this manager. He could only wait for the next opportunity. He must come tomorrow. At least he couldn't waste the money and jade pendant. He then said, "No matter. Since the madam is not here, can I see your master?" He didn't want to give up. Master doesn't care about the trivial matters of Zhuangzi. Everything is handled by the madam. Could it be that young Master Song is talking about academic matters? Naturally, you can go find him. Manager Zhang's answer was watertight. No, it's not academic matters. It's business, a big business. Oh, so that's how it is. Then I ask young Master Song to come back tomorrow. Young Master, have some tea. Manager Zhang asked him to leave. Waiting for Song Jinggong to turn and leave, Manager Zhang looked at the slightly unwilling back of Song Jinggong and sneered. You dare to have ideas about my family? When the time comes, you'll know what's good for you. So he's not a traitor sent to Zhuangzi. He's actually had an affair with a servant girl. This is easy to deal with. We just need to expel him from Zhuangzi. The Gang Wang clan received the manager's report. Xiaoqi wasn't sent by someone else. He heard the master's words and wanted to coax a servant girl called Xiao Hong into Zhuangzi. Thus he said these words. This proved that he knew a lot. After hearing the whole story, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also let out a sigh of relief. No one was willing to have their own backyard be in trouble, while they were working hard to start their own business. Zhang Xiaobao didn't agree with his mother's way of doing things. He could only advise, Mother, you can't expel Xiaoqi. If he's dissatisfied and tells others, it'll be bad. We'd rather beat him to death than let him go. There's no need to beat him to death, since he's on good terms with that Xiao Hong. Then we'll ask Xiao Hong what she thinks. If she agrees, then we'll allow the two of them. Wang Wan saw that Zhang Xiaobao wanted to kill someone in order to eliminate a hidden danger, and quickly stopped him. The Gang Wang clan looked at her son, then looked at her daughter-in-law. She happily kissed them on their cheeks and said, Okay, we'll listen to Cuckoo. My son and Cuckoo can talk so much like adults. Even if she's a monster, Mother will accept it. Where can I find a monster that's so close? Actually, it's all your father's fault. He had to say those words. Mother will go and talk to your father later. After talking and feeding the two children, the Gang Wang clan really went to look for Father Zhang. However, she didn't go alone. Instead, she called her mother-in-law and grandfather. It was as if she was going to blame them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan naturally didn't care about others. They lay there, enduring the drowsiness, and discussed their future plans. You're coming up with ideas one after another. Are you going to come up with them all at once? There are only two people working. How can Cherries and Ernia know so many things? They'll tire themselves out. Wang Wan felt that Zhang Xiaobao would develop too quickly if he continued like this, so she tried to persuade him. It's a little too much. Then let's let Ernia's family take care of the soy sauce, Cherries take care of the chickens, and let Pomegranate take care of the earthworms and other trivial things. Then we'll have no one by our side. Actually, it's not that I want to develop so quickly. If we weren't in the second year of the Kaiyuan era, but 2 years ago, I could take it slow. Time doesn't suit me. Zhang Xiaobao sighed and said, I don't believe you. I feel that even if we were 2 years ago, you would still say the same thing. It's just like how some people always say that if they were a few years younger, they would say so and so. Wait for them to get older, and they'll say the same thing again. Wang Wan didn't believe Zhang Xiaobao's words at all. Zhang Xiaobao turned over and laid on his stomach, pressing his face into the mattress and said, It's true. I'm afraid that Li Longji will confiscate my family's land. My family's 100 households don't pay taxes. If the land is gone, what will happen to the people in Zhuangzi? Keep it. That's tax per head. How much money does it cost every day? If I don't keep it, who will take care of my grandparents and parents? I'm worried that they won't be able to take it. Even if I let you earn, you want to buy such a big piece of land with such a small amount of money? Of course this amount of money isn't enough. What I need is a foundation. When the time comes, I'll naturally find a way to get rich. I won't tell you now, or else you'll start bemoaning the state of the universe again. Anyway, I won't lie. Zhang Xiaobao continued to explain. Who cares? If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. Don't say it to me in the future. Think about that big liar song. Wang Wan said in a huff. What's there to worry about liars? You government officials are still the best. Why didn't I think of using delay? As expected of bureaucracy, it's good to delay him for a few days. Respect. Zhang Xiaobao praised. This was because today's delay tactic was Wang Wan's idea. According to Zhang Xiaobao's idea, they should just directly lie to each other. What do you know? This is called a battle strategy. Go to sleep. We still have to continue training in the afternoon. Chapter 32. Pomegranate was also sent out to do something. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan woke up, they found another servant girl sitting by the door. Now, I'm really starting to admire your mother in this life. She's in charge of the farm. She's feeding us milk. And she's also able to grasp the situation around the children at any time. If it were in our era, she would definitely be an all-powerful woman, Wang Wan said with a sigh. That's right. Don't you see whose mother she is? In the future, don't always say your mother like that. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Call them father and mother. Who is this at the door? We can't arrange anything else. Otherwise we won't have enough people at home. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the servant girl standing by and thought of an idea. After thinking about it, he finally rejected it. When he saw Wang Wan looking at him unhappily, he smiled and said, I'm used to it. I always feel like I'm still the person who controls a large corporation. Then always remind yourself, especially in front of outsiders. Let's go to the sand. While the children are recovering quickly, we should seize the time to exercise. As soon as Wang Wan finished speaking, the two began to kick the mattresses on the ground. This was the only way for them to get off the ground. Little young master, you're up? After kicking a mattress, the servant girl alertly walked over. We don't need you, we can do it ourselves. What's your name? Seeing that the servant girl was reaching out to carry him, and Wang Wan, Zhang Xiaobao spoke to stop her. In reply to little young master, my name is Xiaohong. Thank you little young master and little miss for asking for mercy. In the future, little 7, and I won't dare to speak out of turn. The person who called herself Xiaohong was somewhat reserved. Oh, you're Xiaohong. Do well in Zhuangzi, and we won't treat you badly. Hurry up and get off. Wang Wan said to Xiaohong, and urged Zhang Xiaobao to get off the ground first. Taking a deep breath, and protecting their heads with both hands, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan rolled onto the mattress on the ground one after another under Little Red's astonished gaze. Little Red felt as if the things that had rolled down were not 2 children, but 2 large rocks, firmly pressing down on her chest. She was so frightened that she did not know what to do. Go to the kitchen to get the water we need. As soon as you tell them, they will understand. Go to the backyard to find us. Remember to bring 2 sets of our clothes. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't care about the mattresses on the ground. Xiaohong should be able to do this kind of thing. One in front of the other, they staggered outside. Looking at the little young master and little Miss Wang's disappearing figures, Xiaohong was stunned. After a while she reacted. She covered her mouth with her hand and muttered, Not a monster. I don't know anything. I won't say anything. Xiaohong trembled as she was told to go to the kitchen. The kitchen had already prepared everything. When she took the water and walked to the back, Xiaohong was still in a trance. As she walked, she suddenly stopped and muttered to herself, If the little young master is really a monster, then wouldn't the family head in the future be a monster? That doesn't seem bad. With a monster as the family head, who would dare to bully the people on Zhuangzi? In an instant Xiaohong, who thought it through, became happy. She quickened her steps, and came to the back of the yard. She saw the little young master and little Miss Wang walking there hand in hand. Not far away, under a tree, sat the old madam and old master, looking at the 2 little guys with benevolent smiles on their faces. The scorching sun gradually sank. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan once again dragged their tired bodies back to their room. Enduring the soreness, they massaged each other once before lying there, and gradually fell asleep. Jiang Wang clan had already been ordered for the past few days. They were to eat a pig's knuckle every day, the kind without salt. For her, for the sake of her children, there was nothing she couldn't endure. Waiting for Jiang Wang clan to feed her milk, while Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were lying there reading the 1,000-character classic, Erniu and Cherries both came back. Pomegranate took a few people to the market to pick up vegetables, leaves, and rotten fish. Little young master, the sauces have already been made. It's not very good to make sauces at this time of the year. My mother said that we can still make sauces. It'll be ready in a few days. Send the money for the small porcelain jar over as well." When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan raised their heads to rest their eyes, Ernie finally opened his mouth to report. "And take care of this matter first. You put in a lot of effort. Keep 10% of the things that aren't soybeans for your family. Bring the rest back to the courtyard, and find a place for me to put them. Find someone who can read and write down the amount of each item, and send it to me. You don't have to come here every day. Come once every 2 to 3 days. If you encounter anything that you can't decide, you can ask me. Rest in the courtyard tonight, and go back tomorrow morning." Zhang Xiaobao thought for a moment, and then instructed Ernie. He glanced at Cherries, who was standing at the side, and nodded. Cherries stepped forward and said, "Little young master, the Kong bed you mentioned has already been set up and dried. We also bought a lot of eggs. I've been touching the chicken coop every day. I think it's ready." "It's ready? That's good. Do as I say. In about 20 days, there will be chickens coming out of their shells. Let me think about it, and I'll tell you the details tomorrow. This thing, I'm familiar with it. When you see Pomegranate, tell her to hurry up." Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while, and then slowly said. After Cherries also left, Wang Wan stared at Zhang Xiaobao and suddenly laughed. "I thought you knew everything. It turns out that you're also a little guilty. Are you familiar with it? Why do you sound so unconfident?" "I can't say I'm not familiar with it. Cherries has already grasped the temperature. What she needs is me to give her confidence. It's not easy to be in power." Zhang Xiaobao smacked his lips, and then continued to read. He didn't just read, he also had to memorize it. Wang Wan didn't say anything for a while. Her eyes stared straight at the many strokes of the words. After a while she said, "Actually, it's not easy to live. Who knows what tomorrow will be like? Natural disasters, man-made disasters, if you can't avoid them, then you have to face them. What do you want that for?" Wang Wan's thoughts jumped around quickly. At first she was lamenting, but then she changed the topic. Zhang Xiaobao turned a page and said, "Rewards. I'll make more money in the future, but I'll be suspected by others. Maybe I don't have the mood to care about the internal affairs. Now I need to strengthen the people's hearts. My request is that the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang families must be as strong as iron in Zhuangzi. Fortunately, there's someone to help." Wang Wan turned back again. She hadn't finished reading yet. "There are still 2 lines to go. It's vertical. I'm not used to it. Who do you think will help?" "Song Jinggong, that liar. We can get a lot of money from him. Hurry up and read one more page before you go to sleep." Zhang Xiaobao yawned and said, It was another sunny day. The early morning breeze was still cool. The chirping of birds was like the sunlight passing through the gaps between the leaves. It was always possible to feel its presence inadvertently. The children and the adults who had nothing to do were at home flipping through the piles of firewood. They took out the rotting things underneath and carefully piled them aside, waiting for the people from the village to come and change them. Song Jinggong didn't go back home yesterday. He found a random family in Zhuangzi to stay the night. Normally, as a kind person, he would stay for a few nights. That family should have taken care of his meals and wouldn't ask for a single copper coin. Who would have thought that these 2 neighboring families in Zhuangzi would actually ask him for money? 5 copper coins for a night's stay and 5 copper coins for a meal without meat. 10 copper coins for a meal without meat. It was just a lousy dish. Not to mention the bad taste, there wasn't much oil. It was enough to stay in the town's inn for 15 copper coins. You could even drink a bowl of wine. When he left the house, Song Jinggong cursed inwardly. He had given all his money to that little kid from the Zhang family. He had actually taken away an inkstone from the 4 treasures of the study that he always carried with him. That inkstone was bought for 50 copper coins, and it was only enough to pay for a shabby bed for one night. How could a bowl of brown rice and a plate of fried leek with egg be counted as meat dishes? With a gloomy mood, Song Jinggong didn't feel happy even though the weather was so good. If they didn't ask for the jade and silver, Song Jinggong really was prepared to leave. Now that he had given them away, he wouldn't be satisfied if he didn't get some benefits. Imagining the scene of him tricking the people in Zhangzhe Zhuangzi into crying, Song Jinggong finally felt a little better. He hurried on his way. When he was about to reach the biggest courtyard in the manor, He slowed down his pace. He straightened his clothes and said to the door, "Is the manager of the manor here? Song Jinggong is here to visit." The person at the door had already been instructed. He glanced at the door and didn't say anything. Song Jinggong waited for a while. He had no choice but to reach out and knock on the door. Only then did someone open the small door. He stuck his head out to look at Song Jinggong and said, "What do you want?" "I am Song Jinggong. I want to see the manager of your manor." Song Jinggong cleared his throat and said in a clear voice, "I don't know. Do you have a name card? How can the manager of my manor be met so casually?" The gatekeeper disdainfully curled his lips. "I was here yesterday with your young master. Why don't you know today?" Song Jinggong was angry, but he couldn't directly show it. He could only continue to speak. "Yesterday I only saw the young master. I didn't see anyone else." "Io, isn't this young Master Zheng? You've come. Quickly invite him in. I'll inform him of your arrival." As the gatekeeper spoke, he suddenly changed his face and greeted Song Jinggong. He then turned around and ran back. Song Jinggong heard the gatekeeper's words and turned his head to look. He saw a young man in his 20s standing there with a smile on his face. He wore a small gown and tight leggings. He didn't look like a rich person. Why did the gatekeeper treat him like this? With doubts, Song Jinggong cupped his hands and said, "So it's young Master Zheng. I understand. My surname is Song." Oh, hello young Master Song. Is young Master Song here to borrow money like me?" This young Master Zheng didn't seem to know the meaning of secrecy. He opened his mouth and spoke his purpose. "Borrow money? Then why did the gatekeeper treat the two of us differently?" Song Jinggong wanted to understand what was wrong with him. "Oh, young Master Song must be a righteous person. Although I'm here to borrow money, every time I come I will. Young Master Zheng, please come in." Just as Song Jinggong wanted to know the reason, the gatekeeper came back and stood at the door to welcome him. Young Master Zheng smiled and thanked him. He handed a string of 300 copper coins to the gatekeeper and walked in respectfully under the gatekeeper's service. Looking at young Master Zheng's receding figure, the gatekeeper weighed the money in his hand with a smile on his face and put it away happily. When he saw Song Jinggong again, he suddenly snorted coldly, turned around, and went in without saying anything. Song Jinggong now knew the reason. He gritted his teeth and turned around to leave. It wasn't that he didn't want to cheat, but he wanted to go back to get the money. He finally understood what was going on with the gatekeeper. It was easy to meet the king of hell, but difficult to deal with the little ghosts. If you think this book is too short, you can read my other book, The Legend of the Waiter. You have to save your ticket for this book. Chapter 33. Song Jinggong was a swindler. He always thought that he was the best and did not think about other things. He did not know how to communicate with others in the same field. It could be said that he was conservative. Zhang Xiaobao grasped this mentality of his and continued to swindle money. Every time it was just a little bit. He even used the doorkeeper. After Song Jinggong went back in the morning, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. In order to get his revenge, he hurried back that night with the money. He met the same doorkeeper again. With the experience of this morning, he did not say anything and handed over a small piece of silver. It was about half a tael. It was almost twice as much as what young Master Zheng gave in the morning. The doorkeeper smiled and took the money and ran in. After a while, he turned around and showed a helpless expression. He said, "Young Master Song, the housekeeper is checking the accounts. Perhaps you will not be able to see young master today. It would be better if you came early tomorrow morning." "Then is your madam here?" Song Jinggong was distressed to spend half a tael of silver. He gave so much money to the doorkeeper. At this time, seeing that he could not talk to the housekeeper, he made a new request. Who knew that when the doorkeeper heard this, his face suddenly became gloomy. He said coldly, "Young master does not need to worry about my madam. Young master, please go back." Song Jinggong stared blankly for a moment. He suddenly remembered that she still had 2 babies to feed. They must be babies at this moment. It was really rude of him to ask like this. He looked embarrassed and didn't dare to say anything more. He forced a smile and turned around to leave. After walking a few steps, He found that he was going to the house where he stayed yesterday. Thinking about the food there, he changed direction and went to the Wang family's house in Zhuangzi. Who knew that when he found a house that looked clean and told him the purpose of his visit, they asked for 10 copper coins for lodging and double the food expenses. Thinking that the food in this house would be better, he gritted his teeth and accepted. After all, he came to Zhangjia Zhuangzi to cheat people. It was not good to go to Gujia village. Who knew that when dinner was served, it was a plate of scrambled eggs with chives. It was not as good as scrambled eggs with chives. Lying on the bed that was almost hollowed out, the thin mattress was covered with thatch, and it was very uncomfortable. Just this alone was fine, but there were mosquitoes flying around in the room. Last night, when he slept, his family even lit a rope made of mugwort to drive away mosquitoes. Today there was nothing, and this room was next to the courtyard at the back. From time to time, Song Jinggong could see things flapping their wings as they wandered in through the half-broken window. Song Jinggong didn't even dare to take off his clothes. He covered his face with the blanket with an unknown smell and couldn't fall asleep at all. The sound of crickets chirping outside the window did not stop. In the past, it was a different kind of feeling to hear it, but today it was even more so. It was late at night, and the dew was heavy. The vegetables and fruit trees in the courtyard were constantly sending moisture into the house. Song Jinggong felt that his hands and feet were ice cold. He tossed and turned and curled his body into a ball, but he still couldn't get rid of this cold. Old sir, open the door. We need to discuss something." Finally, Song Jinggong, who couldn't bear this kind of torture, got up and went to the next room. He gently knocked on the door and only spoke when he heard the voice inside. "What's the matter? It's so late and you're still not sleeping?" The person who opened the door was around 50 years old. He yawned and asked with some dissatisfaction, "Old sir, my room is really too cold. Do you have a thin blanket that I can use to sleep on?" Song Jinggong didn't expect that a farmer would dare to speak to him like this. He sighed sadly in his heart and tried to negotiate. "Where's the blanket? I've already put it away. Where can I find it in the middle of the night? Just wait for the night. What were you thinking about in the morning?" The old man refused. "You really don't have one?" "It's not that you don't have one. There is a new blanket for my grandson to use when he gets married. It's placed in a conspicuous place. I spent a whole tale to get it made." The old man sighed as he spoke. His master was so shrewd that he even calculated this. "I'll buy it. A tale of silver, I'll buy it." Song Jinggong's eyes were red. What did he mean by a tale of silver? Could it be satin? "I still have to spend a lot of effort to get it." The old man complained and didn't move. "Add another 10 coins. Song Jinggong increased the price. "Wait." The old man snorted and closed the door. He probably went in to look for the blanket. After a full quarter of an hour, he came out and stuffed a rolled-up thing into Song Jinggong's arms. He then turned around and closed the door. Song Jinggong hugged the blanket and felt a little warmer. He went back to his room and covered himself with the blanket. He still couldn't sleep and could only look around under the moonlight. He looked around and saw the blanket. The more he looked, the more he felt that something was wrong. He didn't know if it was because the moonlight was white or if there was a problem with the color of the blanket. When he looked closely, it was made of thick silk. This was the only set that cost 30 coins. The most expensive one was 50 coins. It actually costs 1 tael of silver. That was fine. But looking at the dyed areas, it was obvious that the color had been washed out. It was white. How could this be called a new blanket? Song Jinggong was so angry. He thought about it and decided not to sleep. He stood up and walked to the window. He opened the other window and looked at the night scenery. In this way, Song Jinggong spent a lot of money. Excluding the money he gave to Zhang Xiaobao, he spent a total of 10 taels of silver. This included accommodation, food, drinks, and gifts. But he only met Steward Zhang once. They talked about the matter and only said that they wanted to work together to do a profitable business. Steward Zhang said that he couldn't make the decision and needed to report to his wife, who knew that he would wait for a few more days. If he didn't spend so much money, he would have gone back long ago. Who would be chatting here? But he had spent the money. If he didn't do it well, he wouldn't be satisfied. Today, he finally decided to stay in Gu family's Zhuangzi. He didn't want to waste this money. Xiaobao, you've been here for 20 days, right? Wang Wan, who was sitting on one end of a seesaw under the shade of a tree, used all her strength to press Zhang Xiaobao up. Zhang Xiaobao shifted his weight back and lifted Wang Wan up. He replied, "No, it's been 19 days. In another 10 days, the chicks will be born. The earthworms haven't grown up yet. Put them in the village's toilet. Oh, it's called the latrine. It doesn't matter if they eat maggots. I'm just afraid that they will fall into the pit and drown. We need to feed them some food. How about the sauce? Will it be ready soon? It's still early. It will take another 20 days. Zhang Xiaobao estimated the date that Ernia mentioned. Are you sure someone can buy it? It's just a little spicy. There's meat inside. Wang Wan also used all her strength to move back and lift Zhang Xiaobao again. She used this to train the strength of her legs and waist. She could train while playing. Absolutely no problem. When the sauce is ready, we'll send the recipe of using the sauce to those restaurants and inns. If they sell well, they'll come to buy the sauce and rest. It's been 2 hours. My legs are sore. In a while, I'll ask Xiaohong to go to the kitchen and ask them to make some seaweed and bone soup. Didn't we buy seaweed 2 days ago? You need to replenish your nutrition. Just drinking milk won't do. Zhang Xiaobao got down from the seesaw and walked to a place with sunlight. He started to bask in the sun. Wang Wan followed him. Xiaohong hurriedly went to the kitchen to ask someone to prepare something. When she came back, she took out a small cushion and placed it in the middle of the courtyard. She held an umbrella and hid under the shade. While looking at the two little ancestors, she was thinking about her own worries. Usually, when she had some free time, she would make clothes for herself and Xiaoqi. This time she didn't dare to say anything. If anyone saw her holding a needle and thread while looking after the children, no one could help her. Xiaobao, don't just lie down. Look at how much money we have. Wang Wan turned over and propped her chin on the cushion. We don't have much money, but we've accumulated some things. Let's wait for the autumn harvest. What are you going to do with the autumn harvest? I always feel that you're up to no good. Wang Wan still didn't know what Zhang Xiaobao was planning. How should I say? You can say that I'm up to no good. Or you can say that I'm doing something out of the kindness of my heart. It depends on how you interpret it. For example, Wang Wan asked. For example, is it good or bad for traders to make money? If you want to make a profit, you have to buy low and sell high, Zhang Xiaobao said thoughtfully. When Wang Wan, who was lying down, heard this, she immediately sat up. She stared at Zhang Xiaobao and said, You want to buy food? You want to hoard it? Don't be silly. How much money can I have? Why would I hoard it? I want to buy food locally. Today's harvest is good, and the food is cheap. Next year, I'll sell it elsewhere and make a lot of money. Zhang Xiaobao finally revealed his purpose. Where? I can't say it yet. If I tell anyone, the secret will no longer be a secret. Zhang Xiaobao refused again. I won't ask in the future. Think about that swindler song. How is he going to cheat us? I'm not an immortal or a demon. Let's wait. Tomorrow, I'll get Steward Zhang to contact him. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. The next day, Song Jinggong came to the courtyard again. He had already become used to coming once a day. He originally thought that he wouldn't get anything today. But who knew that when the gatekeeper took the money he gave and reported it, Steward Zhang personally came out to welcome him. Haha, young Master Song has been waiting here for a long time, right? Come in with me. Steward Zhang warmly led Song Jinggong into the living room, which made Song Jinggong a little unaccustomed. When the two sat down, the servants served them tea. After a few sips, Steward Zhang said, Young Master Song has been here for a long time. You must have something important to say, right? Today, Madam went out to handle some matters, and won't be back for a few days. Everything in the village is under my management. Young Master Song, if you have something to say, just say it. When Song Jinggong heard Steward Zhang's words, his heart skipped a beat. He asked tentatively, You can make decisions about money? Of course. My family has been in charge of the Zhang family for generations. It's just a matter of managing money. There's nothing I can do. Steward Zhang replied proudly. Oh, if that's the case, Steward Zhang is very respected in Zhangjia Zhuangzi. Congratulations, Steward Zhang. Song Jinggong flattered. Well said, well said. Young Master Song, just say what you want. Steward Zhang's eyes narrowed. He seemed to be very comfortable with the praise. All right, I'll say it now. I have a shop in Sanshui County that specializes in antiques, calligraphy, and paintings. Song Jinggong said softly. Oh, you want me to buy some calligraphy? Steward Zhang asked. No, I have something else to discuss. It's about making money. Song Jinggong finally said what he thought was very tempting. Chapter 34. After Song Jinggong said this, he no longer spoke and lowered his head to drink his tea. Steward Zhang thought to himself, so it's here. He also pretended to drink a few mouthfuls of tea. When he refilled it, he asked, what exactly is young Master Song talking about getting rich? This fine, I'll just tell you. I heard that there was a strange object in that area that I thought would be able to sell at a high price once it was shipped to Tang. I gave a deposit of about 1,000 stones, each stone being 200 coins. The object looked bright red and delicate, with green leaves on it, reflecting each other. Originally, it was 1,000 stones, but who would have thought that it would be 2,000 stones? I don't have enough money, so I came to discuss with the steward if you would like to get rich together with me and buy the 1,000 stones. Song Jinggong said with a face full of certainty. I don't know what it is, but how could it be so valuable? If one were to eat this 1,000 stones, it would be 200 taels of silver. This is not a small amount, and I haven't seen the object. This. Steward Zhang revealed a difficult expression. He was not afraid at all. No matter what he said now, he would not make the final decision. He would just follow along. Yes, 200 taels of silver. It is not easy for me to make the decision. Why don't we wait for Madame Zhuang to return, and then we can discuss it? Song Jinggong said. Steward Zhang's face was not gloomy. He gently placed the teacup on the table and said, although 200 taels is a lot, it is not that I cannot make the decision. It is just that I have not seen the object, so it is not easy to take it out. If it is convenient for young Master Song, please send the object for me to take a look, so that I can rest assured. Manager Zhang, you don't have to worry about that thing. I have a way here that can solve my worries and also give you some benefits, Song Jinggong said with a smile when he heard Manager Zhang's words. Oh, there is another method. Quickly, young Master Song, tell me in detail. If it is possible, I can still take out 200 taels of silver. Steward Zhang cooperated. Song Jinggong unhurriedly took out a few pieces of paper and gently unfolded them in front of Steward Zhang, indicating for him to take a look. Manager Zhang carefully picked up the pieces of paper and flipped through them one by one. After a while, he revealed a puzzled expression. This is the store's deed. What does young Master Song need it for? That's right, it's the shop's deed. It's the Song Sanshui's antique calligraphy and painting shop's deed. All the items in the shop, including the real estate, are worth 300 taels of silver. Here is the Yue's calligraphy book as proof, as well as a detailed list. Each item has its own value. If Steward Zhang is able to take out 200 taels of silver and lend it to this song is willing to use this shop and the goods in it as collateral. When this song accepts the goods, this song will immediately return the money with a 30% interest rate. At that time, Steward Zhang's share of benefits will not be small. Song Jinggong understood everything clearly. No matter which aspect it was, it made people feel good. In that case, if we can't get the principal and interest, then the store and the goods in it will belong to us? Manager Zhang asked again. That's right. Song Jinggong nodded. Then why didn't young Master Song borrow it from others? There's a place that specializes in borrowing money for this kind of thing. And we don't know when that goods will arrive? Manager Zhang asked doubtfully. Song Jinggong seemed to have already known that Manager Zhang would ask such a question. He smiled and replied, that merchant only cares about profit. This song is afraid that if I went to another place to borrow money, not only would they not lend it to me, but they would also go to another merchant alone. At that time, this song won't even be able to receive a single dan of goods. I've heard that the people of the Zhang family's manor are all kind-hearted people. That's why I've come to your esteemed manor to discuss this matter. I'm thinking that even if your esteemed manor doesn't lend me money and doesn't cooperate with me, you won't do such a thing that takes drastic measures to deceive people. As for that goods, they will arrive soon, probably not more than half a month. That's why this song is so anxious. When he said this, even Song Jinggong felt that he was lying. In the past few days, he had been cheated many times. If this was considered kind, then there were no good people in this world. Just thinking about that broken quilt made him angry. Well said, well said. This Zhang feels that the 2 points that young Master Song has raised are both feasible. How about this? This Zhang will think about it carefully and tell young Master Song in detail. Just as young Master Song said, whether it succeeds or not, we won't do such a thing. Servants, tell the kitchen to prepare a banquet and entertain young Master Song. Young Master Song, please wait in this hall for a moment. This Zhang can't do it alone, so I will go back and discuss it with my father. Is that okay? Manager Zhang asked after making the arrangements. That's fine. Then I'll have to trouble Manager Zhang. Whether this matter succeeds or not, this song will remember Manager Zhang's kindness. If it really does succeed, when this song makes money, this song will definitely reward Manager Zhang well. Song Jinggong was happy. If Manager Zhang didn't say so and directly agreed, he would be worried. Manager Zhang didn't say anything else and said to wait. He hurriedly left the hall and went straight to Zhang Xiaobao. As for his father, it had nothing to do with this matter, so it was useless even if he went. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao was rolling around in the sand with Wang Wan. A few days ago, he had someone blow bubbles into a ball and stick leather on the outside. The two of them kicked it back and forth, using this to train their bodies and also to train their coordination. When he saw Manager Zhang arrive, he stopped and asked, Manager Zhang, do you know what that swindler Song wants to do? Manager Zhang repeated to the young master what he had said with Song Jinggong. He didn't say anything else and quietly waited for the young master's orders. At this time, the young master's weight in his heart was not low. What Ernia's family did, Zhang Wang clan didn't hide it from him. While he was moved by his wife's trust, he was also shocked by the young master's methods. As for the talk of immortals and monsters, he didn't care at all. His family had been the Zhang family's housekeepers for generations. It could be said that he was born as a member of the Zhang family and died as a ghost of the Zhang family. If the young master was a monster, then his son was the monster's housekeeper. There was no difference. When Zhang Xiaobao heard these words, he fell into deep thought. Wang Wan also followed suit. She had dealt with many cases and was preparing to take out a similar one for comparison. Without waiting for Zhang Xiaobao to speak, Wang Wan, who had thought for a while, said, I understand. That swindler Song wants us to go and eat all the goods. If we can't sell them, we will have to pay a large sum of money. How can there be something so expensive? 100 copper coins for a stone. Why don't we lend him the money and get his 300 taels of silver shop? With the swindler as a guarantor, I don't think he will be cheated. Let's see what he says when the time comes. Then we will be cheated. Is the swindler's guarantee useful? You can guarantee the shop, but how can you guarantee the things inside? Antiques, calligraphy, and paintings can be faked. Song Jinggong can use the real things when he asks the swindler to guarantee. After we sign the document with him, he can change it to a fake one. Who will you ask for help at that time? If the swindler really guarantees the authenticity, how can you sue him? When you want to ask Song Jinggong, he will say that it is those things. You have seen it. Don't tell me that you haven't misjudged antiques, calligraphy, and paintings? Zhang Xiaobao pointed out the loophole in Wang Wan's words. Wang Wan thought about it and agreed. Not to mention that the swindler's guarantee was true. Even if he saw the fake one, he would still say that it was true. So she said, there is no other way. That means he didn't ship anything from elsewhere at all. He just wants to sell the shop to us. We can say that we're working together with him to buy the 200 taels of silver. Let's see what he says. How do you know that there is no stock? If it were me, I would make the goods. No matter which one you choose, you will be cheated. The goods should be very cheap. You can buy it for 100 copper coins per stone. Of course, you may ask for a lower price. Zhang Xiaobao retorted again. When Wang Wan heard this, there was nothing she could do. After all, the things she did in the past were supported by a large amount of information, as well as legal weapons. She could easily find professionals in this field. When it came to the Tang Dynasty, if she were to command an army alone, she would be able to get some results after getting used to it. However, with just this bit of information, it was impossible to judge. Then what do you think we should do? Treat him to a meal and let him go? Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and asked. Treat him to a meal and let him go? Then he must be dreaming. Treating him to a meal doesn't cost money? Since he dares to try and swindle me, I'll show him who's boss. Steward Zhang, come here. I'll tell you what to do. Zhang Xiaobao laughed disdainfully, beckoning Steward Zhang over. Wang Wan, Zhang Xiaobao, and Steward Zhang whispered to each other for a quarter of an hour. Only then did Steward Zhang leave with a confused expression. So stupid. Even I understand what you said. Why doesn't he understand? Wang Wan was relieved. As she spoke, she reached out and pinched Zhang Xiaobao's chubby face. She tilted her head and looked at Zhang Xiaobao for a moment. Amazing. I've finally seen it today. International swindlers are really not comparable to those little liars. If there was someone like you in my special second department, I would catch every swindler I see, and let me take a good look. Could it be that your brain was born to cheat? Alright, you are already drooling. Don't you know that you can't always pinch a child's face? What is this? Alright, let's get down to business. I will let Song Jinggong know what it means to deceive. Zhang Xiaobao slapped Wang Wan's hand away and called Xiao Hong to start making arrangements. A quarter of an hour later, when Manager Zhang and Song Jinggong were eating and drinking, a few of Zhang Zhuang's people left. A few of Wang Zhuang's people also left. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan started the game again. They were evenly matched. Song Jinggong and Steward Zhang were also drinking wine and chatting happily. They were having a great time. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were about to rest after playing for an hour, Zhang Wang clan also rushed over. When she saw the two children, she sighed. These two children were really too cruel. She walked in front of Zhang Xiaobao and touched her son's face. Xiaobao, you are forcing that Song Jinggong to his death. Where possible, you should be lenient. Mom, don't worry. I have my own plans. I will definitely force him to his death. I am short of people. Manager Zhang didn't understand when he heard my plan. I don't want such a stupid person. When Song Jinggong is at his wit's end, I will help him. It will be easier for him to do things in the future. I can't do everything by myself, right? Zhang Xiaobao knew that his mother was not a bad person, so he explained it to her. Zhang Wang clan was relieved when she heard this. She said, My son is right. You are a great talent. You just need to stay in the back. There will be others to lead the charge. Chapter 35. Song Jinggong originally didn't want to drink too much, just a few cups. But after a few cups he was still in a daze. He lay there crookedly, his mouth continuously flattering Manager Zhang. Manager Zhang was also a little shaken. He knew that his alcohol tolerance wasn't that high. It was all because of the little lord. He didn't put drugs in the wine, but had someone roasted in a brazier in this small dining room. He didn't know what it meant to have insufficient oxygen, nor did he know what it meant to increase the temperature to promote blood circulation, which would cause alcohol to affect the brain faster. He only knew that since the little lord said so, then it was definitely not wrong. After arranging for Song Jinggong to rest, he went out to do other things. When Song Jinggong woke up, it was already afternoon. He was fed some hangover soup by the servant girl serving him. In a daze, he vaguely heard someone talking. Manager Zhang, who allowed you to make the decision alone? Do you not see me as a person in your eyes? The voice seemed to belong to a woman. Song Jinggong rubbed his aching head and tilted his ear to listen carefully. No, this little one doesn't dare. This little one only thinks that young Master Song's business is good. So this little one wants to get some money. If Madam doesn't allow, this little one will send him away. Song Jinggong finally heard clearly that the person speaking was Manager Zhang. Thinking about the matter with Zhang Zhuang, it was obvious that the person who could make Manager Zhang so afraid was the Jiang Wang clan. Seeing that the madam wanted to drive him away, Song Jinggong immediately became anxious. Just as he was about to go out and explain, he heard the Jiang Wang clan say, "Manager Zhang, since I've taught Zhuangzi to you, you must be 120% alert. Don't be fooled by others." "Madam, don't worry, I definitely won't be fooled. Young Master Song is not that kind of person." Just as Song Jinggong was worried that he would be exposed, Manager Zhang's voice sounded. Not that kind of person? Could it be that you've received benefits from him and are speaking for him? I heard that Song Jinggong actually moved to Gujia village yesterday. He wants to cheat us of our money and run away. Jiang Wang clan's voice sounded again. When Song Jinggong heard this, he felt a little wronged. If he could explain, he would definitely rush out and say that the two Zhuangzi people in front of him were too deceitful. But he couldn't say that the Jiang Wang clan knew who he was. If he really rushed out, that would be unwise. With a trace of worry, Song Jinggong listened attentively, hoping that Steward Zhang would put in a few good words for him. Sure enough, Steward Zhang spoke. Replying to Madam, "I've already tested young Master Song today, especially when we were drinking. Young Master Song is really a good person. As for resting on other Zhuangzi, according to this little one's guess, there must be someone on that Zhuangzi that young Master Song is familiar with. Alright, there's no need to say more. How can I not recognize people? If you don't believe me, send someone to follow that young Master Song. If I'm not wrong, he doesn't have any goods. In these few days, as long as he gets money, he will go into hiding. His shop isn't even worth 300 taels of silver. You didn't even see what the goods were, yet you dare to make such a plan. How can I let you manage Zhuangzi in the future?" The dissatisfied voice of the Jiang Wang clan sounded again, scaring Song Jinggong. He wasn't afraid that someone would investigate, but he was afraid that the Jiang Wang clan would directly reject his suggestion. If that was the case, then wouldn't all the money he spent in the past few days be taken advantage of? After listening for a while, until the footsteps of a person gradually faded away, Song Jinggong sat down on a small stool next to the window, thinking about what to do next. When he couldn't hear anything else, he heard Steward Zhang, who hadn't left yet, call out to someone. "Call Xiaoqi over. When young Master Song leaves the courtyard, follow behind him. If you see that he wants to leave, report back to me immediately." After waiting for someone to answer and leave, Song Jinggong let out a sigh of relief. He secretly made up his mind that no matter what, he couldn't let anyone find out. He quietly walked back to the bed and lay down in his clothes. He resisted the headache and looked at the ceiling, thinking about how to cheat Zhangjia Zhuangzi of his money. He didn't expect that the Jiang Wang clan, that Steward Zhang mentioned, would come back so early. What a coincidence. Did she hear that he was coming? Or was it because she was worried about Steward Zhang and deliberately did this? After lying down, Song Jinggong fell asleep again. He didn't wake up until evening. He got up and was about to leave when he heard Steward Zhang's voice outside the window. "Has young Master Song woken up? This servant doesn't know. Young Master Song hasn't left the house this entire time. I'll go in and take a look. Tell the servants to prepare wine and food." Song Jinggong heard the voice and pretended that he had just woken up. He opened his sleepy eyes and waited for Steward Zhang to come in. He yawned and said, "Steward Zhang has a good tolerance for alcohol. I remembered what I said to Steward Zhang when we were eating, but I forgot everything afterward. I don't even remember how I got to this room. Young Master Song doesn't have any worries about Zhuangzi, so you can drink without worry. I can't do the same. There are many things to take care of in Zhuangzi. You need to be careful when you drink. Otherwise, who knows what will happen." Steward Zhang came in with a smile on his face. He looked at Song Jinggong and said this with a laugh. Song Jinggong didn't have time to care whether these words were true or false. He pressed his hand on his forehead and said, "Looking at the sky outside, it should be evening. I won't disturb you any longer. When that fellow arrives in a few days, I'll tell Steward Zhang the details. No rush, no rush. Leave after dinner. The people in the village aren't smart. It's hard to find someone to talk to. Young Master Song, it's not easy for you to come here. No matter what, you can't just leave like this. Steward Zhang tried to stop him. Thank you for your kindness, Steward Zhang. Unfortunately, I can't drink. Even now, I still have a splitting headache. I can't drink. I really can't drink. In a few days I'll come again. Song Jinggong wouldn't eat here no matter what. What he needed to do now was to pretend and make people believe him. It didn't matter whether he ate or not. Steward Zhang tried to persuade him again, but Song Jinggong insisted. He had no choice but to send Song Jinggong to the door. He stood there for a long time and didn't turn back. If it were anyone else, they would have been moved. Song Jinggong knew that there was someone called Little Seven who should be following him in a place where he couldn't see. After thinking about it, he decided to stay in the village of Zhangjia Zhuangzi. It didn't matter if he had to spend some money. At least it could make the Jiang Wang clan feel at ease. Night fell. The people who left Zhangjia Zhuangzi and Wang family Zhuangzi were still in a hurry to get to their destination. The Wei River was the closest to Zhuangzi. If they wanted to use boats to transport goods, they had to travel less. However, the Luoshui River was the closest to Sanshui County. According to Song Jinggong's judgment, they should be dropping off the goods there. In order to not make any mistakes, both sides sent people to check. In addition, 2 people went to Sanshui County to arrange things there. These people were told that no matter where they went, they were not allowed to reveal their identities. In the morning, 2 travel-worn people came to Xinping City, which was dozens of li away from Tuqiao village. These 2 people didn't enter the city directly. Instead, they found a place not far from the city and stayed in Zhuangzi. According to the instructions, they had a good sleep. They only woke up in the afternoon. After freshening up, they casually threw a few copper coins to the people who stayed with them. Then they went out and asked around for houses to sell. When other people asked, they would say that they came from afar and wanted to find a place to stay. After an hour, they finally found someone who was willing to sell the house. Not caring that it was getting late, they pulled the person and bought the house on the same day. One of them stayed behind to clean the house and hired someone to make the bed. The other person hurried back. It was really like running through the night and the stars. At 2:45 in the morning, he returned to the Zhang family manor. Ignoring his fatigue, he went straight to the courtyard where Zhang Xiaobao was sleeping. When he arrived at the door, he reported while panting heavily. Zhang Si was ordered to return. He bought a house in Xiaoniu village, 2 li outside of Xinping City. Fortunately, he didn't disappoint. After saying this, he was so tired that he couldn't stand. He squatted there with one hand on the ground, panting incessantly. When Xiao Hong heard the noise, she woke Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan up. The 2 looked at each other and hurriedly got up. They let Xiao Hong carry the bed, lit the lantern and walked out of the door. Zhang Xiaobao even lifted the bowl of water beside the bed. When they went outside and saw Zhang Si's appearance under the moonlight, Zhang Xiaobao nodded. He brought the water forward and said, "Good job. The Zhang family is honored because of you." Zhang Si took the bowl, raised his head, and gulped down the water. He wiped his mouth with his hand and respectfully replied, "Thank you, little young master. I bought the house. Please give me your orders." "Well, that's good. Go find cherries. Let her arrange the rest. I'll have to trouble you. Remember to be careful on the road." Zhang Xiaobao saw that one thing was done, so he nodded and said with a smile. After Zhang Si left, he turned back to Wang Wan and said, "This is the person that I, Zhang Xiaobao, want. How is his efficiency compared to your special second department?" "It's a so. Don't think that everyone in my place is idle. The other 3 people you sent out haven't come back yet." Wang Wan curled her lips and said disdainfully, "I don't mean to belittle your side. I'm just asking. Go back to sleep. It seems that you don't need to sleep immediately. Drink milk first." "I'm a little hungry." Zhang Xiaobao laughed. When he saw his mother standing at the door, he quickly ran into his mother's arms and pretended to be a child. Wang Wan touched her stomach and found that there was indeed nothing inside. She also followed him. On the banks of the Luoshui River, There were also two people who didn't sleep. They looked at the boats docked at the docks and secretly sized them up. With the occasional flash of light, they carefully memorized the red and green things that were exposed on the boats. Little Motsi, you keep a close watch here. I'll go back and report. The Zhang family's little young master is still waiting. One person looked for a moment and felt that he remembered the appearance of the things. He said to the other person. When the other person nodded, he turned around and disappeared into the night. The people left behind resisted their tiredness and lay on the grass. They allowed the dew to gradually wet their clothes. They motionlessly observed the situation and listened to what the two people guarding the night said. Chapter 36. The river gurgled, and there were continuous dark clouds above. A few green leaves set off the flowers, and a cool breeze gently brushed their faces. It was a cloudy day. Seeing such weather, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were also happy. Finally, they didn't have to endure the sun to exercise. The two went to the courtyard to throw sandbags. The real sandbags were covered with a layer of linen outside and filled with sand inside. They were slightly bigger than a quail egg and were just right for their small hands to hold. Xiao Hong stood on the side, staring at the sandbags flying around in the air. She was afraid that the two little ancestors would throw the sandbags to each other's face. While they were happily playing, a servant carrying a basket came over and gently put the basket on the ground. He said to Wang Wan, "Little girl, according to your instructions, I bought the things you want. I went around the surrounding area and bought these." "Well, okay, you do what you need to do. Oh, go to Xiaobao's storeroom and get 2 big bones. Pick the meat and take it back. When you go back, you can make soup for your child." Wang Wan took the sandbags and stopped. She said to the servant. Naturally, the reward was from Zhang Xiaobao's storeroom. After the servant thanked her and left, Zhang Xiaobao ran to the side of the basket and tiptoed to look at it. "What is this? It looks familiar," Zhang Xiaobao asked. "Of course it looks familiar. It's saltpeter, not very pure saltpeter. I specifically asked someone to buy it," Wang Wan explained. "Saltpeter?" When Zhang Xiaobao heard the name, he began to look around. "What are you looking at?" "It's saltpeter. I'm looking at charcoal and sulfur," Zhang Xiaobao said. Wang Wan rolled her eyes at Zhang Xiaobao. She also came over to look at the saltpeter. "What are you thinking? I didn't say I'm going to make fire. You can't buy so many cures, right?" Zhang Xiaobao was still looking for 2 other things. "Stupid. Ernia's family has already prepared the hot pot and sent it to the courtyard. I want to drink some soup and eat 2 slices of tender meat. I want to use saltpeter to make ice. I want to freeze the mutton and use a plane to cut it into slices. I want to roll the slices one by one. It's thinner than the slices and more convenient to eat," Wang Wan said as she reached into the basket and took out a small piece of saltpeter. She held it in her hand and looked at it. She nodded and felt that it was not bad. "Oh, we can eat hot pot now. It's a cloudy day, so we can sleep after eating. That's what I call comfortable. I don't expect big slices of meat, but some foam will do." When Zhang Xiaobao heard that there was hot pot, he naturally wanted to freeze the mutton. He ordered Xiao Hong to get 2 basins, 1 big and 1 small, and filled them with water. He put the saltpeter in the big basin and continued to throw sandbags to Wang Wan. When the water in the small basin also turned to ice, he ordered someone to bring fresh mutton to freeze. Naturally, someone also prepared other food. He found a new plane and prepared charcoal. He also ordered someone to go to Ernia's house and get a can of water that was used to soak mountain chili. The rest of the food was waiting for the mutton to be frozen and hard to be shaved. Wang Wan was also not idle. She ordered someone to make chicken and pig bone soup. She also got some dried seafood. This thing was cheap. She first used warm water to heat it, and then used it as the base of the hot pot. They waited for a long time. When it was almost noon, the mutton was finally ready. As for the beef, it was not easy to kill and could easily cause trouble, so they could not eat it for the time being. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were sweating from playing, took a bath, and then accompanied Zhang Xiaobao's family to sit at the table. Although they were sitting, they were actually being held in someone's arms. The hot pot was placed in the middle of the table. The hot pot was filled with red-hot coals. The inner ring of the pot was a hollow lid, and a chimney was placed on top of the lid. When the bubbling sound came from the inside, the water would boil. After removing the chimney and lifting the lid, the food would be ready to eat. Fermented bean curd, stinky tofu, chives, soy sauce, vinegar, and other seasonings were placed in small plates and placed there. Whoever wanted to eat could take it. Zhang Xiaobao's parents, grandfather, and grandmother sat in a circle according to the rules. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were held in Xiao Hong's arms. The adults knew that this hot pot was specially made for them by Xiao Hong. Smelling the soup and the seafood in the pot, they felt that it was not bad, but they were not sure how it tasted. "Mother, eat, I'll cook a piece of mutton for you." Zhang Xiaobao saw that everyone was sitting there and watching, so he could only use his chopsticks to pick up a piece of mutton with great difficulty. He put it into the pot and gently shook it. Xiao Hong was afraid that the boiling soup would splash on the little gongzi. She wanted to reach out to block it, but she could not free her hands, so she could only pull it back. "Don't pull, it's easy to burn." "Okay." Zhang Xiaobao reminded her, and then moved twice. He took out the discolored meat and put it on his mother's plate. Zhang Wang Clan's eyes immediately turned red. She opened her mouth and ate the meat. It was gone with a click. She did not even taste anything and praised, "It's delicious. My family's Baolang's food is good. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, and husband all eat." Then everyone started to work. According to their eating habits, they made 2 sets of seasonings. One set was for the mountain pepper seedling water. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Xiao Hong watched from the side. They all swallowed their saliva. Xiao Hong could not eat together, and Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan could not eat such a big piece of meat. They could only wait until everyone was almost done. There were bits and pieces in the pot before they could drink the soup. "Xiao Hong, you don't have to carry us. We will stand and watch. You eat too." Because it was a short table, everyone sat on small stools, also known as hu stools. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan could stand by the side, but when they saw Xiao Hong watching, they felt uncomfortable. It was fine if they did not let her in, but since they were sitting together, they could not just watch. Zhang Xiaobao broke free from Xiao Hong's embrace and ordered. Xiao Hong did not dare to move her chopsticks, and shook her head. Wang Wan also broke free and said, "Just eat. The more the merrier." "Xiao Hong, let's eat together. You have taken care of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo these few days. Just treat it as a reward." Jiang Wang clan finally spoke. Xiao Hong thanked them and ate carefully. 5 people were eating, and only 2 children were left. Zhang Xiaobao looked and refused Xiao Hong's offer of soup. He scooped some tofu with a spoon, put it in the pot, and put it on Wang Wan's plate. "Eat. We will eat the duck blood later. These things are still edible." Wang Wan did not stand on ceremony. After mixing her own seasoning, she stuck her chopsticks into the tofu, dipped it, and ate it in small bites. After eating, she stuck out her tongue and said, "So spicy." Zhang Xiaobao also scalded some tofu for himself. There were already a few Xiao Hong dots on the back of his small hand. Xiao Hong was frightened when she saw this. She quickly took Zhang Xiaobao's hand and looked at it. The others also saw this situation and became nervous. Only Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not have any expression. "Xiao Hong, you eat your food. Don't worry about Xiao Bao. This little bit of scalding is nothing," Wang Wan said. She knew that she and Zhang Xiaobao were the same kind of people. This was not a wound at all. She believed that even if a layer of skin on Zhang Xiaobao's hand was burned off, Zhang Xiaobao's hand would not tremble even if he wanted to kill someone. "And right, it's not hot at all. It's just hot. I can eat it myself. I am a monster," Zhang Xiaobao said with a smile. 2 small dimples appeared on his chubby face. "What monster? It's an immortal. Don't listen to your father's nonsense. Xiao Hong, since Xiao Bao can do it himself, let him eat it himself. My son is not an ordinary person." Jiang Wang clan also felt a little distressed, but she still chose to support her son. "It's all in the past. Why are you still talking about him? Mother, I'll pluck some prawns for you." Father Zhang saw that his wife was going to bring up the past again. He was afraid that he would be scolded by his parents again. He boiled 3 prawns and plucked some red meat for his parents and Jiang Wang clan. It's noon. Why hasn't the people sent by Sanshui County come back yet? Zhang Xiaobao used a spoon to scoop up some mutton, which was deliberately chopped by his family, and put it into the small bowl that Wang Wan was holding with both hands. The two of them drank one mouthful after another. Suddenly, he thought of the matter in Sanshui County and asked casually, "It should be fine. What I'm most worried about isn't that side, but which river will stop the boat? What if the boat hasn't arrived yet?" Wang Wan drank a mouthful of soup and looked around the table out of habit as she spoke. "There's no hurry. I believe that the 2 rivers will definitely have something. I know this liar song's mentality. What are you looking for?" Zhang Xiaobao saw Wang Wan's actions and asked. "Vermicelli. I forgot. There's no vermicelli here." Wang Wan used lip language this time. "I haven't made vermicelli before, but I know the general idea. When I was young, there was a starch field near the orphanage. The water in the river was white. If I had known earlier, I would have gone in and seen how they made it. Later, I'll ask someone to make it with wheat. Isn't it just making starch first? With 10 taels of silver, it's definitely possible to make some vermicelli. It's a pity that there's no chili sauce today." Zhang Xiaobao tried hard to think, but in the end, he still couldn't figure out how to make vermicelli. He didn't like to eat vermicelli. It was okay to eat it occasionally, but he had never cared about it. "It's okay. When will you ask someone to make noodles? I know how to make them. When I was young, there was a family in the courtyard that made vermicelli. I often went to help them knead the noodles." Wang Wan saw Zhang Xiaobao's lip language and said comfortingly. While the two of them were lip-speaking, Xiao Hong had already finished eating in a hurry. She didn't dare to eat until she was full. She just ate 2 mouthfuls of each dish, and then put down her chopsticks. Zhang Xiaobao also knew that Xiao Hong had already made a great decision to eat a few mouthfuls. Seeing that it wasn't good for her to stay on the side, he said to her, "Xiao Hong, go and see how little Seven is doing. We must keep that liar song here for a few days." Xiao Hong agreed and left. Here they were still eating and drinking. If they didn't talk about things that didn't happen here, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would let go of their worries. They didn't need to lip speak anymore. They drank soup and ate bits and pieces of food there, and then began to study the next plan. The adults, on the other hand, did not make a sound. As they ate, they looked at the 2 little fellows. When they heard the words that only adults would say, the smile on their faces never disappeared. Finally, they did not have to worry about whether the next generation would ruin the family business. The most depressed person was Father Zhang. He always felt that the 2 children were abnormal. But when he saw the other 3 people he couldn't provoke all take it for granted, he couldn't say anything. On second thought, this was good. When Xiaobao grew up, he might come back with the top score in the exam. So he said to his son, "Xiaobao, are you willing to learn how to read and write from your father?" "Yes, I am learning. Dad, please take care of me in the future." Zhang Xiaobao swallowed the soup, nodded and said to his father, "You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.